Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the stream. It feels like it's been forever because I have been busy doing a whole bunch of stuff. But I have great news. We are actually at a desk. We don't have to worry about interruptions. Hopefully. We also have drawers next to us for holding stuff that may need. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. I love it very much. I don't know what else to say. Oh, we got IKEA sharks, which is, always great. I have not in my lap right now. They are the baby blahage I got. Other than that, I want to I want to finish Nord's route, and then I want to actually go into Moth's route, so that next stream on Friday, we can, or technically today's Friday, so Saturday, technically, we can officially use Night and see how she works, see how the stream goes with her. So, yeah. I think we should just get into it. Hi! My day is going good. Went out, bought a new drawer, built the new drawer. So I'm kind of tired, but also excited to stream at my brand new desk. Okay, last time I felt bad, so we just kind of stopped halfway. And if I recall correctly, Nord was... Yeah, we're just doing Atlas's and Nord's route again to get Nord's ending. So, let's go save our kidnapped strong himbo. This is not too unusual, right? I imagine you guys get into this kind of trouble every Sunday. No way. Only like once a month. Tops. Well, that's reassuring. We follow the tracks that the trolls left behind. Both of us are tense with focus, trying to stay as quiet as possible. Eventually, we discover the troll camp in front of the cave structure. There's Atlas. There he is. His poor leg. He's tied up and looks a bit battered, but at least they took the trap off his foot. What do they want from him? One of the trolls holds a braced arm towards him, with a somewhat expectant glare. What? You, fairy, use fairy magic to fix. Fix? You? Oh. Forgot to put the audio on. I can't do that. I mean, not while my hands are tied. The troll simply growls in response. This is starting to make sense to me now. They think that every fairy is capable of using healing magic, so they captured one with the goal of forcing him to heal the injuries among the ranks. Their plan may have actually worked if I had been the one to step into that trap. Right now, Atlas is stalling for time. The trolls won't be happy when they find out that he can't give them what they want. We have to get him free somehow. But what should we do? We come in peace, attack now while it's checked. Wait. We come in peace. I think I know a way to solve this without bloodshed. With my hands raised, I step towards the camp and initiate diplomatic communication. Hey, the trolls instantly grab their weapons when they notice me, and Atlas looks at me as if I'm some kind of crazy person. Relax, ladies. I'm not here to fight. You need a healer to patch you up? Well, you got the real deal right here in front of you. The trolls exchange some words in their ancient language. It seems that they understand, and they like what they're hearing. I can fix your injuries for you, under the condition that you let us all go afterwards. Do we have a deal? One of the trolls, apparently the leader of the bandit group, quirks an eyebrow. and nods at the rest. Every troll with some kind of ailment gets in line in front of me. It's honestly not the most comfortable setup, considering that they're still holding down Nord and Atlas with armed guards. I start doing my job. It doesn't take long, though, till a problem becomes clear. There's just too many trolls that require treatment, and they insist that I do a perfect job on each one of them. The fact that they're freakishly huge isn't helping. Healing larger bodies takes more energy out of me. I better make it through half the line when I already feel completely drained. Continue. Damn it, I can't mess this up now. I try to carry on, but just as I feared, I can't seem to produce a single healing spark anymore. I'm gonna need a break. Just a little rest. Half a dozen grim visages glare at me, but they let me catch a breather for now. I look over to Atlas. He can tell that this isn't gonna work out. He carefully nods towards his hands, which were bound before. I can now see that he's managed to burn through the ropes while the trolls were distracted. Nord catches a glimpse of it too. If things go south, we'll just hunch our way out of here after all. Continue now. I try laying my hand on another injury, but sure enough, my magic is all used up. Any chance I could come back here some other day? Trolls growl in response. I think that's a no. If magic is in fairy blood, we should slice open fairies and eat it. Eat this! I give one of them a whack on the head with a staff, then followed up with a kick of the groin. All hell breaks loose as the entire camp launches into combat mode. Halfway, expect the two boys to make a run for it, but they're already standing next to each other. But instead they leap in to get me to safety as well. Nord uses his dash to build momentum, turning himself into a high-speed projectile. He does forceful kicks to whichever troll is unfortunate enough to stand in his proximity. My staff makes for a surprisingly decent weapon. I managed to beat and dodge my way through the crowd of angry, grabby hands towards Atlas. Considering that he's still off balance due to his injured leg, he can defend himself fairly well. One of the trolls grabs Nord by the ankle and is about to fling him away like a rag doll, but a quickly thrown pop by Atlas stops them. We improvise our way through the chaos until the three of us are back to back. Now's our chance. Nord pulls Atlas and me close, and with a well-aimed dash, we're out of there. Rain begins to whip into our faces as we hurry back, as if the sky is trying to drown us. But we don't stop until we're back safe and sound at the village. Sit down. I'll get you some towels and blankets. Atlas is looking worse for wear now that the adrenaline is wearing off, and he's limping from his bad leg, but at least he's in good spirits. Nord, on the other hand, hasn't cooled down from the fight yet and can't seem to sit still. Phew. You two were absolutely nuts, you know that? Were you expecting us not to come back for you? Well, what was the deal with you flinging us into a tree in the first place? What were you thinking? They were coming and, I don't know, it was like a reflex. I wanted you to be safe. That was the only thing on my mind. Atlas, you're such a dummy. Yeah. Promise me you'll never scare me like that again, okay? I promise. I'll try. Wait, I just realized to tell Oberon about this troll thing. You really want to go out into the storm again? I'll be just a moment. But he's already zoomed off. There's little use in calming him down when he's wired. He probably needs the activity right now. While Nord is outside, I begin treating Atlas's injured leg. Can you wiggle your toes? Yes, seems to be working. Alright, from the looks of it, nothing is broken at least. We'll just have to fix the flesh wound. At least the trap didn't hit an important artery, otherwise the bleeding could have been much worse. I squeeze a last bit of healing magic from my brain for all it's worth. I'm pretty thoroughly drained though, so we'll have to make do with classic medicinal treatments for now. Sorry, wish I could do better. Are you kidding? You did a great job. I'm already feeling so much better. I wasted all my energy on those brutes. Seriously, it's alright. You tried to find a peaceful solution. That is noble. I think you did the right thing. Even though it didn't work. It says more about them than about you. It also gave me enough time to loosen the bonds on my hands. That was worth it. Worth a lot. Hey Atlas, when you threw us into the tree, was it really just about protecting us? Were you willing to sacrifice yourself just like that? To be completely honest, I thought I could take them on by myself. I'm used to fending off creatures in the forest. I figured I could get away without putting the two of you in danger. Seriously? You literally had your foot stuck in a bear trap. It must have hurt like hell. Even just seeing Atlas's injury made me want to scream. To be fair, I'm used to quick healing myself whenever I get something as small as a bruise, so my pain resistance is pretty low. You really thought you could fight on your own like this? It was stupid of me, I know. But hey, I at least managed to land a few decent hits on them before they dragged me off. We were sick of you, we were sick of you, yeah, right if you stepped into a massive trap. It's alright to depend on others sometimes. Good job playing hero, you almost got us all killed. We see, it's alright to depend on others. I know you like to be strong and dependable one, but caring about people is a two-way street. Nor didn't hesitate a second when it came to going out and rescuing you. Please allow us to be there for you, just like you're there for us. Don't just push us away, figuratively or literally. I guess that means I don't have to fight on my own all the time. I'll do my best to keep that in mind. Thanks for everything, Sky. I think we would have been in much worse spot if it hadn't been for your help. I'm back! Oh, what did Oberon say? He's on his way to take care of the problem, as he put it. Like, right now? In this rain? This time of day? Yep, I was kind of surprised too. Hey, your leg is looking a lot better now. Right? Sky is pretty good at his job. Thank you, thank you. I'm always open for gifts and fan mail. I couldn't really heal you as thoroughly as I wanted, though. Any chance you two want to stay over for the night? That way, I could check up on you first thing in the morning, when some of my magic has recovered. Sounds like a plan. Yay! Sleepover time! We make ourselves comfortable and get ready for the night. Nord and Atlas don't mind sharing the expendable couch on which I usually seat my patients. After a day like this, I'm pretty sure all of us are ready to drop. That is, till I hear Nord get up and step outside. Hey, are you alright? Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to wake you up. You're not leaving, are you? Nah, I just needed a moment. I'm still feeling kind of wired too. Glad to hear I'm not the only one. I just can't stop thinking about all the things that could have gone wrong. About losing Atlas. Pretty dumb, right? Hey, I understand what you mean. But I think as long as you're looking out for each other, as long as the three of us are looking out for each other, nothing bad can really happen. I mean, look at what you did today. I had no idea you could be so brave. That was pretty strong, wasn't it? Yes. To be honest, I wish you'd stand up for yourself just as much as you do for others. Huh. Hey, is that young Sky? Nord? Lord Oberon, you've returned. Can I, offer you a seat? No need. I only wish to inform you that the troll problem has been taken care of. You will not have to worry about it any longer. That's good. What exactly did you do? I handled it. That is all you know. You must know. I think I'm spotting some bloodstains on his clothes, but that may just be wet dirt. Chances are I shouldn't ask further questions either way. Have a good night. Good night, my lord. Come on, let's get back inside. I think I understand Nord and Atlas a bit better after this day. They function as a unit, and they will do anything to protect each other. It would be fruitless endeavor to pull them apart. It's either both of them or neither. On the next morning, I untangle Nord and Atlas and make sure that their recovery is going well. With some of my magic restored, I can heal everything I didn't get to yesterday evening. The two thank me for my service and for the sleepover, and leave to catch up on their chores. I spend a bit more time relaxing and processing the adventure. Self-care is important for a healer. I can't expect to aid others when I haven't taken care of my own body and mind. After I've had some lunch, though, I feel ready to go out once again. And now, we do the last boy, Moth. I'm curious what Moth is getting up to today. He'll probably be at the tailor shop, right? Oh, wait. I think I see him at Leith's shop. Hey, Moth. Greetings, love. Oh, no. Splendiferous day today, isn't it? Is there a particular reason why you're looking so excited? Indeed. I just found something fascinating among Elise wear. They let me have this for some spare change. Take a look at it and tell me what you see. Moth hands me a scroll, and the paper looks to be rather old. The writing on it is still readable, but it's clearly different from Elise's plain and neat handwriting. It says, like a pillar of life, I stand tall. Strong and towering, I will not fall. I have seen all love and hate, rise of kings and fall of states. Standing still may seem strange, but growth is my way to change. It goes on with many more verses after that. Some kind of poem? I think there's more to it than that. The stanza about the pillar of life? That may be the tall tree by Oberon's residence, the one that overlooks the surrounding forest. And when it describes the lovely mirror surrounded by debris of hubris long past, that must refer to a nearby lake surrounded by the ruins of old buildings. And it doesn't end there. You mean the poem describes landmarks in this forest? Yes, but not just random landmarks. They're described in an order that creates a path. Like directions. Exactly, my clever friend. What does the end of the poem say? Witness wealth and treasure, but do not linger and loaf. Rise above and return, for beauty is terror's cloak. How mysterious. It's written somewhat cryptically, but I believe that these directions may lead to a treasure. Maybe. I just find it a little suspicious. Where does this even come from? At least said they found the paper on a forest path. My theory is that someone wrote these instructions as a coded reminder to themselves, like a treasure map, and then lost them, or it was stolen from them, and the thief threw them away in frustration, unable to figure them out. And the original creator sure didn't have a nifty finder spell like I do, so they couldn't get it back. Either way, I desire to know where this poem will lead me. Wow. I didn't know you were the adventurous kind. A true artist cannot stay holed up in his chambers every day. Fresh experiences can be an integral part of staying inspired. Besides, think of the treasure that may be waiting for whoever is smart enough to decode the instructions. Say, care to join me? I'd be willing to share the finds with you. Sounds like a good time. It's still early enough to head out. We could go right away. Fabulous. Give me a moment to prepare. I'll be right back, love. Moth vanishes into the tailor shop for a few minutes. I just enjoy the sun on my face while I wait. Of course he had to change outfits. I should have guessed. Onwards to adventure. Let's go. We move on from the tall tree to the lake surrounded by ruins and so on. Some of the verses are a bit more difficult to decode than others, but we steadily manage to make our way through the forest. Our path isn't perfectly straight, but we end up straying rather far from the village in what appears to be a constant direction. I think we're on the right track. We eventually reach one of the last described landmarks, a large boulder deep in the woods with symbols scratched into it. I don't think I've ever been in this part of the forest before. Probably because the ground is getting really muddy here. I pull one of my feet from the bog, and it lets me go with a squelching sound. It's not a very inviting scenery, that's for sure. Be careful where you step. You don't want to get stuck in this swampy earth. For the first time during this trip, Moth seems a little cautious. If this is getting too scary, we can turn back any time. Oh, nonsense. I'm not scared. I was just thinking. You could drop something here and the ground would eat it right up if you give it some time. Isn't that case with most things you leave in the forest? Yes, everything would eventually decay or be gnawed off by wild animals. Things like that. But drop something here, and it may quickly vanish without a trace. No be any wiser of its disappearance. Just poof, away it goes, never to be seen again. That's true. I wonder what Moth is trying to get at. Maybe being forgotten is something he's truly afraid of, even if he wouldn't admit it. But right now isn't the right time to ask. We're on a mission here. What's the poem saying? Follow the arrows straight to the heart. Keep going, but you needn't walk far. I bet that refers to the symbols on this rock here. Exactly my thoughts, love. The arrow straight to the heart. That would be this combination in the top row, wouldn't it? I think so. Should we follow the direction it's pointing towards? Yes, I believe that's the way to go. Keep going, but you needn't walk far. Oh my! Look at that, love. Building. I think we did it. Whoa. Does somebody live here? Not impossible, but if you ask me, the house doesn't look particularly lived in. More as if it was abandoned many years ago. Moth walks across the clearing and wipes one of the windows, trying to get a good look at the interior of the house. It has gotten noticeably foggier in this part of the forest, and the cool air seems to seep right into my bones. I cannot see far in there, but there's quite a layer of dust on this house, if I'm not mistaken. Who knows? Perhaps the external decay is merely a facade for the treasures within. We should try knocking first, for good measure. We rap our knuckles against the old wooden door, but it doesn't appear to be locked and proceeds to creak open ominously. Well, isn't that inviting? Moth is clearly trying to sound brave, but at this point he can't hide that he's getting a bad case of the jitters. I'm not here to explore a dark, abandoned house either, but we've come this far. I'm too curious to turn back. It's just an old house. I'm sure the worst thing that could happen is that parts of the ceilings collapse on us, but it seems sturdy enough. Right! After you! I test the stability of the floor, then take a few steps inside. Moth follows. Most of the windows have a thick, dusty curtains draped in the front of them, so it's quite dark inside. It's about time my light spell comes in handy during this trip. Ooh, bright! Once we acquaint ourselves with the surroundings, it becomes even clearer that nobody has been in this place for a very, very long time. It's suspiciously quiet in this house. I suppose even local wildlife isn't interested in inhabiting such a spooky cottage. Though Moth's fear is swept away once he recognizes some valuable fabric and trinkets in what must have been the living room. Oh my, is that natural silk? Take a look at this. I can't believe it's still in such decent condition. A cloud of dust dances through the light as he wipes the fabric and neatly folds it into one of the bags he brought. I also see him snatch some silver spoons from a tea set. Oh, is that a golden pocket watch on the table? You're just gonna take all this stuff? Well, this is a treasure hunting trip. It's not like the original owners are going to be back, right? It'd be a shame for all these beautiful things to just go to waste and be forgotten. You do have a point about that. If the owners had cared about these things, they would have taken them with them when they abandoned the house. These treasures deserve a new home, and I'm charitable, and I'll charitably give them one. Gosh, I wish I could take these carpets too. They're such high quality. I'm very glad you came with me, Sky. I'm not sure how well I would have managed all on my own. Been too much of a coward? I see. You just needed someone to light the way for you. Nothing nicer than a good, spooky house. This is really fun, but we should be careful. I still feel like there's a lot about this place that doesn't add up. Where are the owners? Why did they have such a fancy house in the middle of nowhere? And why didn't they take their things with them? This place looks as if it was abandoned very suddenly. Those are very valid concerns. I do sure hope that we don't discover some dead remains in this place. Or something worse. We continue looking around the bottom floor, and we carefully collect things we consider worth saving. Hey, Moth, what did the last verse of that poem say again? Let's see here. Witness wealth and treasure, but do not linger in love. Rise above and return, for beauty is terror's cloak. I don't know about you, but I don't think we should stick around here for too long. I'm just not quite done looking around yet. Seriously, I'm getting a sense of stranger danger here, except it's aimed towards a place and not towards a person. Strangerness, dangerousness? See, you get it. Just then we hear a low rumbling noise, and the ground beneath our feet shakes. What in the heavens was that? I don't know. Maybe an earthquake? We should get out. Quick. We dash back to where we came from, but before Moth can open the door, I stop him. Wait. Moth, wait, look at this. I hold back one of the curtains, and there is mud already reaching halfway up the window. The house is sinking? The house is sinking! We stumble up the stairs to the second floor, hoping to find a way out. The house isn't simply drifting lower into the sludge. It feels as though the earth itself is actively trying to swallow it at a shocking speed. There, a window, to the rooftop. Moth fumbles with the mechanism for a second. It's a little rusty, but a hearty smack from him cracks the window open. Let Moth go first. After you. I practically shove Moth through the window, and then follow suit once he's made it out. Just in time, it seems, as the house is about to disappear into a massive puddle of mud. Hi, Loco. We are finishing Nord, and then we're currently on Moth's route because I was supposed to finish this game a couple of streams ago, and then I did not. So that's why here. Currently, a house and mud is trying to sink or drown us. So we're trying to get out. Moth has stumbled into the grass, apparently safe, but my feet get stuck in the sludge. Ah, damn it! Sky! Moth slushes through the mud as close to me as he can without being sucked in too. He reaches out to me. Grab on. I can't quite seem to reach him until I suddenly feel myself getting pulled towards him. Moth's slender hand tightly clutches mine. He pulls me back, and we stumble into the more solid part of the clearing. The last bits of the house disappear into the muddy pit with a squelching sound. I almost expect the ground to let out a burp, but instead there's nothing but dead silence. Moth and I only need to exchange a look to agree that we should get away from this place before more potentially life-threatening stuff happens. Whew. That was absolutely nuts. Tell me about it. Are you okay? Are you hurt? I am absolutely perfectly fine, love. Or at least I will be once my legs stop feeling as though they're made of goo. Terribly sorry that you had to get your clothes all muddy, but I hope you're unharmed too. Never been better. Phew. When you pulled me out of that pit, were you using your finder spell to tug me closer? Indeed I was. That was quick thinking. I didn't know it worked on people too. I wasn't sure either. Only used it on very light things before. Not that I'm calling you bulky. You're just a tad heavier than a roll of yarn, you know. Yeah, I can imagine. Wouldn't have worked if you had used it on my pants or something? And give you a wedgie in the middle of an already mortifying ordeal? Please, I have standards. Moth looks pretty drained from using his magic to such an extent. After a short break, we make our way back to the village. Sky, I know this adventure got upsetting in places, but I certainly don't regret having had your company on the way. If you hadn't been with us, well, who knows what may have happened. I may have vanished in that muddy pit and nobody would have even told the tale. We make for a rather effective adventuring team, don't we? Agreed. Still, I wonder who wrote the directions to the old place and what exactly was haunting it. That's something I'm curious about too. Though it's probably best to leave some questions unanswered. That reminds me. I couldn't take those beautiful silk fabrics with me because we left in such a hurry. Oh. I could, however, grab a hold of this. Moth shows me a delicate golden fountain pen. I do faintly recall seeing it at the house. Oh my gosh, you really took a souvenir from a haunted house, huh? I'm sure that the object itself isn't haunted. I stand by what I said about that, you know. It's a shame for all those precious things to go to waste. Somebody crafted them with a lot of care. They're probably made to be used, to be a part of somebody's life. That's why I'd like you to have this, Sky. Really? You're giving the pen to me? Of all people? Of course. As a memory of the exciting time we shared. Wow. Thanks. I'll try putting it to good use. I'm sure you will. Don't worry, I won't drag you on another adventure anytime soon. Unless I come across another mysterious poem. You know where to find me when that happens. Jolly good. For now, I'll be going back to peace and quiet of my craft. I feel so inspired. Same here. It's a knife pin. I mean, it makes sense. The house tried to kill us. All the objects inside probably want to kill us too. We get into our house and the pin just starts floating. It's like, oh, you thought you were safe? I'll see you around, Moth. You most certainly will. Have a good night, love. I spend a bit more time at home changing out my dirty clothes and getting the traces of mud cleaned out of them. After that, it's bedtime for me. I was prepared to spend a sleepless night, considering my close encounter with dark forces, but it turns out adventuring is really exhausting. Soon enough, I drift off into a deep and restful sleep. On the next day, I get a visit from the blacksmith, Darla, who challenges me to heal the burns. Even better. Is it tactical? It would be very tactical to have a knife pin. I wish my pen were a knife. Knife pens are cool. Haunted pens are probably even cooler. I ask her if she doesn't wear gloves when she works, and she says of course she does, but they get sucked and ripped apart when she was doing something important. While I make sure to heal them all, she proudly asks me if I want to know where her other scars are from. I already know she's going to tell me, whether I want to hear it or not. The session drags on a bit, but she leaves me a nice tip when I'm done, so I'm not complaining. She says she has to leave because she has too many irons in the fire. I like her. After some quiet lunchtime, I ponder how to spend the rest of the day. With the guy that gave us the tactical pen, of course. As I step outside, my attention is quickly captured by whining noises across the street. What I initially theorized may be the sound of an injured animal is actually just Moth being himself. He does look a lot more disheveled than usual. Oh my poor tortured soul. What's a man to do? Take a breath and tell me what the problem is. Popsicle stick. The problem? The problem is that Lord Oberon is going to tear me apart like badly made felt. Come again? Moth pinches the bridge of his nose and tries to compose himself. The Lord himself showed up at my shop just now. Cool. And he brought along with him an array of garments that servants and other employees of his court. It is Oberon wouldn't put it past. Really though, we had like a whole scene of Oberon like chewing Nord out for simply maybe accidentally breaking something when he didn't. And he had no proof that Nord had broke anything. So, you know, Oberon would kill him. Oberon was like, there are trolls outside the village? I'll kill them. They're easy. Simple enough. Of his core, intend to wear the evening a midsummer celebration. Ah, so like fancy dresses and stuff. Exactly. All the garments he brought are in need of repair, in one way or another. Ripped seams, loose buttons, you know the deal. He asked me that I can fix them for him, so they're suitable to be worn again. Wow. He's coming with that stuff. Now? Yes! Apparently Lord Genius didn't care to get this handled at a more reasonable time. You don't know the state that some of these dresses are in, Blossom. It is dire. I have laid eyes upon true horror. Oh no, Moth. Oh man, that bad? At least they are clean, but even just restoring a single one of these would usually take me half a day. Oberon wants this done by tonight. Holy smokes. Then why are you standing here whining about it instead of working? Because all hope is lost. There's no way I finish this in time. Unless you have some idea on how to solve this problem. You're good at solving problems. She's a farmer, Moth. I don't think she knows much in the ways of clothing. Go to work. True. Moth, just work on them, and whatever you can't do, just simply bring up the fact he gave it to you way late. Is he even paying you for this, Moth? If he's not paying you, don't accept it. Yeah, usually by punching them. I have a feeling that won't help here. Moth sighs. Sky, you've been listening too, haven't you? Oh. Imagine you're just eavesdropping. You're like, oh, this is some good gossip. You know? How interesting that Lord Oberon did this. And then just get called out of, you've been eavesdropping, right? Do you have a solution? You knew I was here? Of course I knew you were there. Okay. Yes? Sorry. I was curious what all the agitation was about. It's fine. Perfectly fine. Do you by any chance have an idea of what I should do? Steel roll. 1. Yeah! Stealth. That's the word I meant. Stealth. Rolled a nat 1 completely. We thought we were being sneaky? No. Otherwise, Lord Oberon is going to lock me up in the dungeon for eternity. I don't think he'd actually do that, but hey, whatever fuels your vague fantasies. And what's worse, my reputation will be ruined. Come on, Moth, you can do it. Maybe stop being such a perfectionist. Wow, thank goodness that's not my problem. I could help you. This is obviously the answer we're gonna go with, but I kind of want to just be like, wow, thank goodness that ain't my problem. Sucks to be you. No, I'm not that mean. Hey, yeah, I'd be up for that too. What? I can't rub my work off to a bunch of running stitch and amateurs. No offense. I have high standards. I need to make sure that everything I deliver is top quality. Oh, get over yourself, you giant man baby. I'll let you know I can actually pull off. Yeah. So, hey, you can help, right? Nah, my bitch. I was just here for the drama, man. I'm not here to actually help. I'll let you know I can actually pull off a really good ladder stitch. I may not be as skilled as you, but I certainly won't make things worse. Maybe you're the only tailor in this town, Moth, but you're not the only one that can patch up a pair of stockings. We can at least help out with small tasks to get so you got more time for the bigger fixes. So I probably no, I'm here to make them. Yeah. But I do be like that though. Nord shows up, I'm like, I'm about to ruin this guy's day. Am I the problem? I might be the problem. You guys would really do that? Don't you have more important jobs to do? Actually, technically, yeah, I am the healer. What's up with their hair? I don't know. I think Blossom's just like she got excited, so it became frizzy. And Moth's is just naturally very long and luscious for some reason. Hey, I like it though. Long hair, cool. Although I may be biased because I have long hair. I'll have to take an occasional break to look after my critters, but other than that, I'm free today. Same here. I feel like Sky, being the healer of the town, he doesn't get a lot of business, so he just goes around eavesdropping on people's conversations and starting problems. Aww, you lot are the best. Alright, let's get this fashion venture on the way. Moth is clearly invigorated by our support. While he exaggerated the level of damage on the garments a little bit, it is very clear that we needed some work before they can be worn again. It's almost a bit of a culture shock. The outfits of the royal court are very different than regular clothes I've seen fairies in town wear. The garnishly use the animals to make the. I'm pretty sure all the fabric is probably from from Blossom, from her animals, because she's the only farmer, at least that we know of. So any fabric, any wool that he gets is from her. So, I guess technically we would be using the animals. Silk fabrics at the court's musicians' costumes are particularly eye-straining. Oberon is lucky I'm on a tight schedule, otherwise I insist on remaking half of these outfits. Everyone's entitled to their own lapse of taste. No reason to pop their bubble. Blossom, dear, do not forget to strengthen that linen thread with some beeswax. It's in the sewing kit. You can use fluffy tail. While it has been a while since I've learned needlework, even I can't mess up reattaching a sir, you should know needlework. You're a healer, sir. You need to stitch wounds, sir. I also make myself useful by preparing scandal water, which Moth assures me is a modern way to say tea. I don't believe him. And by pressing the garments with a flat iron. So much pressing. Half a tailor's work is pressing, dear. It really trains those shoulders. Moth is just buff as hell. Needless to say, I'm learning a lot today. What I expected to be daunting work turns out to be rather cheerful afternoon. Dare I say it, I'm actually having fun. And considering the goal of the entire mission, we are making good progress as well. Moth is obviously the fastest and most skilled at patching clothes, but Blossom's seams are nothing to scoff at either. In fact, the fact that we're helping out is clearly making an impact. Our work is nearing its end when the sun is barely starting to set. How are you doing on that dress? Quite excellently, though I can't imagine how the owner even got those ruffles in such a disorder. Maybe they were attacked by a dog. Or they had a rough night with a lycomorph. Yikes, add that to the list of scenarios I'd rather not have had a mental image of. Personally, I wouldn't judge. To each their own. Just then, there's a firm knock on the door. I shouldn't have said that. Now the freak police is coming for you. Oh no. I bet this is Oberon or one of his servants. Moth's first instinct is throw himself behind the counter and pretend he isn't there. We're not done. I haven't taken care of this petticoat yet. Oh, what to do? There's another knock. Seems pretty insistent. Guess I'm gonna have to answer the door, huh? Blossom puts aside the pantaloons she was patching up and investigates the source of the knocking. Sure enough, it's one of Oberon's servants. One of the more bulkier ones. Possibly a guard who was ordered to do one more errand before his workday ends. What's up? I was sent here to collect the garments that our lord left here for the purpose of repair. Yeah, well, we're not done yet. What? We've got a few more things to patch up, but close to done. Come back in 2 hours or something. 2 hours? This is unacceptable. My shift's about to end. Then tell someone else to come by. Sheesh. Or, if the Lord is so wild about these clothes, tell him to pick them up himself. Such impertinence! I could place an order to have everyone in this house arrested. Do you understand? Yeah, great idea. Do you want to be responsible for arresting the only tailor in town when the Lord needs him most? Listen, buddy. I know your job is tough, but we're already working with 3 people to get this done. There's no way to speed this up? Maybe just stop interrupting us. Before the guard can retort, Blossom closes the door and Blossom said, the king? Fuck the king. I make the rules. The nerve of these people. Blossom, you are my savior. Come again? I don't think I would have kept a straight face so easily. Are you sure they won't come back with multiple guards to drag me off? Look, no. If they do, I'll send them off to Dreamland with my sleep magic. Those guys are all bark and no bite. I think we have some peace and quiet for now. Then how about we get back to those pantaloons? Right. Resume our tasks, trying to work quickly but diligently. From what I heard, everyone is kind of intimidated by Lord Oberon. I'm telling you, he's not so bad. Blossom. You might be the only one who could stand up to him, Blossom. Sure, he's strong. As in ridiculously powerful, nobody knows his exact age. He's certainly older than he looks. But he's also just a fairy, like us. And he values hard work. He's not simply some kind of pampered royal. Guy has seen some shit. His main job is to keep us all safe, which mostly involves diplomacy or tearing invaders to shreds, depending on the situation. He's tough on troublemakers, but we're not making trouble. We're making fashion. That's why he has no reason to harm us. I wish his little footman would be equally as chill about it. Who knows? Maybe he will be he will actually be impressed with my work. If I could prove myself to the Lord himself and gain closer contact to the court, everyone in the highest circles would know my name. You deserve it, man. Just don't forget the people who helped you get there. Moth seems to think about that for a while as we finish our work. A little while later, some broken seam is fixed and every missing button and ornament is replaced. We're packing everything up for transfer when there's another knock. This one, less obnoxious, and instead sounds like it was made by a very big hand. Oh god, Oberon. Moth looks as if he wants to leap behind the counter again, but then he remembers that he does, in fact, have all his work done. Suppose it's my turn this time. My lord! I told you! Moth quickly bows down so low I'm afraid he's gonna snap himself in half. Oberon needs to bow his head too as he comes in, though it's to avoid bumping against the doorframe. Good evening to all of you. Hello, Lord Oberon. You arrived at the perfect moment. We were just finished. Excellent. Let me take a look. Oberon inspects the restored garments. Neatly fixed and pressed as well. I couldn't have imagined them looking any better. As promised, here's... Oh, he is paying him! Thank goodness. He hands over a bag of coins. I can tell from the sight alone it's not all sum. My lord, this looks a fair bit more than what we agreed on. Moth, shut the fuck up and take the money. It is no mistake. Consider it a tip. You've done good work, and I'm impressed that you finished your duties on such short notice. Oh, well... Moth pauses for a moment and looks at us. I'll be honest, I could only get everything done in time thanks to my friends here. He is, though. Take the money, man. Take the money. But also, yeah, me and Nap might be, had several conversations about how much we wanted to romance the king. And his wife, too. She's pretty hot. Interesting. Miss Blossom, well done. Just nothing. My brain saw the word but could not read the word. And young Sky, too. I see you are aiding this community, and not only through healing. Oh, I'm pretty sure I would have lost 10 years of my lifespan on this day if it weren't for him and Blossom. Lord Oberon, oh. lets out a deep chuckle that rumbles through the tailor shop. Then I shall try not to strain you as much next time, young Moth. Until then, I wish you all a good night. What? I don't Thank you, thank you. Oh, yeah, Neppa Night. Neppa is a big influence in a lot of these, because Neppa's just over here like, you know this character? They're kind of hot, and then we end up riffing off of each other over how hot the character is. He picks up the bag of garments and returns outside. Phew! That went quite swimmingly, didn't it? Told you he was cool. I don't know how much I agree with the statement of he was cool. He's hot. But we did see him bash Nord, so. Kind of a shame he didn't stay for tea. Oh, to be honest, actual fish. True. I have a specific visual novel that I want to play. I want to play it, and I have the sequel because I bought the sequel a long time ago because I really enjoyed the game. That is definitely yeah, that's a hot man right there. And I will eagerly awaiting Nappa's response to them. Oh, to be honest, I'm done with this day. Time to lay down and rest this poor, tormented spine. Oof, same. But first, before you two leave, Moth gets the bag of coins and hands us each a third of the payment. Oh man, you know I can't accept this. Take the money. Right, we didn't do it for— Sky, shut the fuck up! We did it for the money! No, I insist. You know I don't like being indebted to people. And maybe someday I can repay you both with the equivalent labor of friendship. But until then, good lord, the two of you need to afford some better shoes for yourselves. Damn. Okay, I'm keeping the money for that comment alone. With this, a busy day comes to an end. After wishing Moth good night, I walk Blossom home. We're neighbors, after all. Almost forgot that. I don't know about you, but I could really use a good night's sleep. Me too. I'm going to have sore shoulders from all the pressing. But hey, I think we did a pretty darn good job. I'm glad you came along. I hope this may earn us some bonus points with Uber. This is the answer I want. I'm the newbie, I just want to make myself helping friends in a pinch is just the right thing to do. My word. It's nice to know that a new neighbor isn't afraid to help out when there's work to be done. When you ever find yourself in trouble, you know what to do. Just hit up one of us. I will. Thanks, Blossom. I'll be seeing you around, right? Yes, have a good night. Once at home, I drop into bed almost instantly. Nobody warned me that ironing would leave my shoulders feeling like mush. Look, Sky, you don't even know I built a whole dresser. Not dresser, but like drawer set today, and that was hard work. I wanted to pass out after, but it was like 5 minutes till dinner, so I went and ate dinner, and then afterwards I was like, oh, I have to stream. If I sleep now, I can't stream. So I'm pretty exhausted too, my guy. My shoulders are also pretty numb. This is a nice kind of exhaustion show. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. The feeling of a good day's work and some newly made friends. Last day before the thing? Over the course of the day, I get multiple visitors. A local bookbinder somehow managed to get his hand badly stuck in a book press. He's whining, but nothing dramatic. Some kids come by and ask if I can fix their scraped knees. They seem more curious than in pain. I would be that kid, though, that would scrape their knees just to see how the healing magic works. Ask a bunch of questions, too. Of course I help. Ah, yes, completely exhausted. Perfect time to play Twitch reflex games like Devil May Cry. Oh! No, don't do that to me. I would play that, though. I would play a lot of games. There's a few games that are on my I won't play ever list. But, like, a lot of games that I do want to play. Mortal Kombat is a good one that I want to play. That I would 100% just be utterly exhausted and then go play it. because I hate myself. I mean, I have Hollow Knight. If I was confident I could live stream it, I'd probably play it too. Because I don't know why I tortured myself. I didn't even charge them anything for it. They were cute, and it's not like kids have a lot of money anyway. Fair enough. As noon comes around, things have calmed down. You should play Catherine. I recognize the name, and I recognize it as a game. But I don't remember it. I watch a lot of, like, game, game summaries and things. So Catherine might have been one that I watched the game summary. Because I know one that I also kind of want to play is Rule of Rose, but I'm also not sure if I want to fight through those controls. Because I love games that just have a deep story to it. First you romance moths, now you're playing a game about beetles. Not convincing me I don't like bugs. Hey! I didn't say I don't like bugs, I just said I don't like flying bugs. Which moths and beetles both fly, so I guess technically, yeah. Well, I have nothing to say in defense of that. I mean, there was a mosquito earlier. If it was flying around now, but I'm not in the living room anymore. I'm in my room. So, it's not flying around. There was a giant bumblebee outside that I literally we had the dog's bed out to dry because she had a stomach ache, and thus we had to clean up after her. And so her bed is currently drying, and there was a giant bumblebee who kept coming over to it, and I was like, yeah, so if any of us bring that in, don't let the bumblebee in, please. I don't want to be trapped. Please. I don't want to deal with the giant flying bug. Please. As noon comes around, things have calmed down a little bit. Well, I saw a giant black beaver. Yeah, no, I can't handle them. As long as they don't come near me and are doing their own thing, we have no issues. Once they start to come near me, we have problems. He won't know how to go home. He won't. And it's not like I kill them. Kill flying bugs either, because we had a wasp in our house. And I was trapped in the kitchen for a bit, but I opened the back door and kind of shoot it out. Because, I mean, it's harmless. They didn't mean to come in. Just happened to fly and then end up inside. So I just put them outside. But they freak me out when they're flying. They scare me. Flies, too. They're the most annoying ones because they make the little buzzing sound, and I can't tell if it's just my ear deciding to not work anymore or what. Oh yeah, no, this makes sense. This makes sense. We did all the moths. No? No, this makes sense. This makes sense. So now we speedrun through, let's do Atlas. That's what I did when Mr. B visited me just exhorted him. Yeah, that's what we do. We used to have Mr. Spider. He used to hang out by our door, and every time we left the house, we'd be like, hey, Mr. Spider, and then walk off. Dude was, Mr. Spider never tried to get in or anything. Eventually, one day, he just wasn't there anymore, and we had the feeling that he just kind of decided to go off. The only bug that we're really like, okay, nope, you can't be in here, is cockroaches. And I think that's, like, for obvious reasons. And then also ants. But it's more of like a, hey, not your house. Don't be trying to make a nest here type of thing. We had a hornet's nest for quite a bit. That eventually, I don't remember what we did. One year at a cider that lived on Dorian. Right? Right? Spiders are cool. I think a lot of people don't like spiders, and personally, spiders are... I think I'm fine with spiders as long as they're not actively walking towards me. Because spiders can be very helpful and, like, keep bugs away. Along with, there's this flying bug that eats mosquitoes. And its name is, like, specifically, like, mosquito killer or something. I don't remember the official name. But, yeah, that guy too. He pretty chill. I still don't like the fact that he flies. But he helpful when you don't want mosquitoes. And it's, nearing summertime, so we are getting mosquitoes. Which is annoying. Let's probably use a helping hand, and I like to get him. Okay, yep, we're speedrunning through this. My mind. Oh, we have new dialogue. I like living with spiders. They keep on annoying bugs. They keep trying to shower with me. Yeah, that becomes a bit of a problem. Don't shower with me, dear. Dear spider, don't shower with me. But you can be around. That was a weird kid. I had a cricket that I put into a container and I would feed it like leaves and stuff. It was my pet cricket. Freaked everyone out when I brought it to school. And in my defense, I think this started because my brother, Puppy, he would pick up snails. We're talking about bugs, Loco. I'm allow that. Yeah. Yeah. I was weird. I think a lot of the guys in my school never saw me as a girl. And, that was fun. But, no, I do understand the whole... Duh, let me make fun of you because you don't like this thing. Freaking sucks. Especially cockroaches. Chocolate covered bugs. The ones from Coraline. When I watched that movie, I loved Coraline. Everyone was like, it was so scary. And I'm like, it was? Child me loved it. I adored it. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But the chocolate covered bugs that she eats actually look kind of yummy. I wouldn't want an actual bug, but like a chocolate that's in the shape of a bug would be cool. Because chocolate, you can do so much detail in it. Because like there's giant chocolate sculptures and like chocolate bunnies. So give me chocolate bugs. Put in a little Valentine's gift thing. Let me give it to someone. You know? Yeah, but to respond to Baz is like people like that suck. I've met too many people like that of like, haha, you're so weird. Coraline is great. Funny enough, the movie version toned down the horror elements. Yeah, I read the actual Coraline book itself because I followed this person who talked about it and did an analysis on both of them. So I went and I read the book itself. Oh God, the book is so good too. The book has so much more horror elements in it and I loved it. The father melting was awesome. But I also heard a fun fact about the movie version is that the creator's daughter, the reason why it was released to kids is because the creator's daughter and like the test group were like, yeah, no, mom, it's great, mom. I love it, mom, because they wanted to support their mom, but they were actually terrified of it, which I found adorable, but also a little concerning at the same time. Didn't know that. Really? I didn't know that either. Music is good though. It is pretty funny. Oh. I don't remember what we were talking about specifically. I think we're just talking about actresses and like, in general things of movies. But Mom and I had like a deep discussion about movies for the Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas is so good too. I still listen to those songs. The Boogeyman song is great. And this is Halloween. I love Nightmare Before Christmas. It's weird because I don't consider myself a Disney girly. I just like all things horror and creepy and weird. And these two things happen to be Disney. It's interesting. My mind briefly wanders back to the intense adventure we had in the forest. Atlas knows what he's saying. Oh yeah, this! Wait, actually, we and Nappa did this, like, alone, and then we did it, as the official thing. And Nappa and I both at times were like, it's the himbo! We of course we trust him, but I want to see what happens when we say no. Because can we actually die in this game? Whatever it is, I don't want to be part of it. No, Sky, wait! Atlas' voice disappears in the wind as I tear away and rush towards the village. I can't be far to it, and yet suddenly the galloping appears behind me and grows louder, catching up to me. Something strikes me from behind like an icy spear that sends a shiver right into my heart. Sky! Damn it, damn it. The first sensation I recognize is warmth, then soft hair brushing against my temples. And then finally, the faintly smell of spices clinging to someone's clothes. Atlas is holding me, shielding my body from the cold wind as best as he can. And he is using his heat magic, not just letting it flow through his palms, but radiating warmth from his entire body. With my head pressed against his chest, I can even hear his heart thumping. You dumbass. Why did you have to do this? Did you just call me a dumbass? It takes a deliberate effort for me to speak without breaking my... Fun fact, Nightmare Before Christmas wasn't originally published directly by Disney. They felt it would hurt the brand and not sell well if people attributed it to being family friendly, so it was originally published under, I believe, the subsidiary Tombstone Pictures. Yeah, I see Disney doing that. Yeah, I see that. I do see, like, where the parts that would be like, it's too scary. Too scary. Kids can't understand stuff like that. Kids loved it. Kids loved the soundtrack. I wonder at one point did they start like claiming it as their own instead of using the subsidiary. That's interesting. Without breaking. Also, imagine dying and your last words are, did you just call me a dumbass? Be like, well, you're dying, so yeah. My voice feels distant, as if it's not my own, but I'm determined to make my way through every sentence without staggering. Oh, you're awake. Oh, thank the stars. What? Why is he thanking you guys? What's happening? Am I dying? Atlas pauses, and I think I hear him swallow heavily from what I said. No way. Not on my watch. Are you injured? No, I don't think so. I'm really cold, though. Yeah, I feel like an ice block. Getting better, though. Atlas pulls me under one of the nearby trees and keeps me from getting soaked by the rain. That's slowly settling in again. He continues passing on his warmth to me. Not gonna lie, I would say. So what are we getting in the way? Right! If someone was dying, I'd just be like, so, like, how, like, give me a timeline here. Am I a good person? I don't think I'm a good person. As long as they're not dying in May, I think we're good. Since it seems like so many people important to my family has died in May. So it's just like, don't die in May. Can you hold out for a little longer? He continues passing on his warmth till my body temperature feels at least close to normal again. Alright, can you get up? Yeah, I'm alright. Come on, I'll walk you home. It's not safe here. I'm just still a bit out of it. What was that? That was the wild. Wait, so we get to live? I mean, not shocked that the first open acknowledgement of being Disney was in Kingdom Hearts, since they didn't take the series seriously until somewhat recently. So it feels like a good place to quietly go, yep, we did this, but I don't know for sure. That does also use saying they make. Why do I love puns, man? I don't know, something about them always gets to me. But yeah, that also kind of makes sense, because yeah, I remember Kingdom Hearts. Oh god, that battle was so difficult. Fun fact, I played Kingdom Hearts on the Nintendo DS. Me and my brothers had a save file that we would all play on, because there were certain parts that one of us couldn't do, so we'd pass it off to the other sibling. Get yourself siblings, they're awesome. Don't kidnap people. I feel like I had to say that. But yeah, I remember Kingdom Hearts had Nightmare for Christmas, and I was surprised by it. So it probably is when, or to sell merch. Like, I can also see, like, them realizing that Nightmare for Christmas is really big and like really popular, and then we're like, we want to sell merch, and then it claiming it, you know, like, hey, did you know we did this? Come buy our merch. Something like that too. Sounds very Disney. And also, yes, I love the pun. They're a group of ghosts that roam the woods a few times a year. What do they hunt? You dumbass, the person who just, I mean, I know I made you run, but also, you're dumb. And then they're scared enough to let themselves be hunted, I think. I almost got killed by a ghost. I'm pissed off we didn't die. I was hoping for death. That does sound like Disney. Yep. That's why I came out to warn you. I wanted to prevent exactly this. The only way I know to avoid a close encounter with them is to stay still in the middle of the road. Running away is the worst possible thing you could have done. Maybe it's just me, but I couldn't get into those games. Maybe I'm weird. No, I don't think you're weird. I think, like, Kingdom Hearts is, like, an acquired taste type of thing. Because, the reason why I liked it is because there's a ton of story to it. And then my brother Kitty liked it because the battling mechanics, he liked them. And then Puppy played it because he found it fun to explore. So there's, like, for the three siblings of us, there were certain elements we liked. But altogether, like, I tried to play it again recently, and I couldn't get into it. Because I don't really like the game. The fighting mechanics. I think it's a bit complicated. But I do love the story. So, it makes sense that some people can't get into the games. It does. Because there's certain games I can't get into that, like, are really popular. I kind of want to check if he's in the chat. He's not in the chat. Okay, I'm free to say it. For example, I can't get into Fortnite. I don't like Fortnite. I don't know why. It just, something about it doesn't appeal to me. And I feel bad about it. Someone recently kind of wanted to play it with me, and I was just there like, sir! Don't know how to explain to you that it's just not my cup of tea, unfortunately. Run away was the worst possible thing. Yeah. You're lucky nothing worse happened. Sorry, but tell me again? Why you let me walk in the woods when you knew about that fighting words? I don't think Fortnite is bad. Me personally can't play Fortnite. Like, I understand the appeal of it. Like, I understand the appeal of Call of Duty. I think just, for me, it doesn't intrigue. I think it's because I like more co-op games. Honestly, Kingdom Hearts is just a hard game to get into on a conceptual level. It's a Disney game made by a Final Fantasy team with their characters and tones based on the original character with a goofy-ass design, and you go through Disney movies with about half following the film one-to-one, the other half being weird fan fiction. I'm not surprised that a lot of people get turned off by that alone. Yeah, Dino described it perfectly. By the way, Dino, has the campaign started yet? I love, like, the other people in the chat have no idea what I'm talking about. Dino is in D&D, Master, that's the word. And then he's doing a campaign that I really want to follow because I think it's a super cool campaign. So I'm just curious if it's started yet or not. But I think for Fortnite, the thing that just, like, makes it not my cup of tea is just the toxicity around it, I think, might just be it. Of, like, there's been so much stuff around it that, like, I don't want to play it. Same, I like games that people wouldn't like. For example, the DMC remake, that Dante isn't nice. It didn't care. That's me, like. That's like me. Yeah. I'm definitely someone that plays games that people don't really know about. Like, one game I've been playing almost religiously for a while, because I found it, is Fantasy Life. But also, like, I started this channel, my first Let's Play was Yokai Watch. We got held back a week because my grandfather's birthday was when Session 0 was supposed to happen. Afterwards, I got a bad call. Oh, no! The universe said, hold on. We have to make sure you're absolutely sure this is the campaign you want to go with. You got everything down? You sure about it? I would be down to watch Treasure Planet again, though, Dino. You need more notes? But yeah, I don't really... I play more niche games, like Yokai Watch, Fantasy Life is the one I'm playing right now. And then I play a whole bunch of visual novel games. Andromeda 6, like, recently updated. And so I was like, yeah! And then this other creator that I played and got the DLC for one of her games also released a new game for a game jam that I'm also excited to play. So I'm definitely more, let me do niche things. But I also do want to branch out to the mainstream things, but at my own pace. Not jumping into shooter games right away. I only have Anastasia to watch, and then wrangling world nominations out of my players. Fair enough. No disrespect, but what is girl math? I don't know girl math, actually. See, what I know is I have dyscalculia, so numbers be not numbering. And I have ADHD math. It's D&D, fighting the dragon of old. The Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out, like, in the last few years, that was really cool. I wanted a plush of the dragon that just kind of rolls over and tries to eat our people. I was like, I want a plushie of him. He's so big. He's so cute. But yeah, ADHD math is essentially, I have to stream at 12, and it is currently 8. So I only have 3 hours before I need to, I know, I love the fat dragon. 3 hours before I need to stream. But actually, I need to relax a bit, so I only have 1 hour before I need to stream. But actually, I have to set everything up, so I only have like 5 minutes. Actually, I'm totally late. Like, I get to my setup completely done, ready to hit live, like 10 minutes to 20 to 30 minutes before I even actually hit live. I'm still shocked the newest D&D movie was as good as it was. Ticked all the boxes. Me too! I loved it so much. Because my mom and my big sister took me to see it, and they were like, oh, but we're worried because other D&D movies suck. But it was great. It was amazing. Everything felt natural, but it also felt like you could pinpoint points where it was like a player rolled a dice and you could see them getting a nat 20 or a failure in that moment. And the mimic, was so cool. It was good. It was really, really good. I loved it so much. And again, I would buy merch of that fat dragon so much. Can you tell I'm obsessed with stuffed animals? Oh yeah, by the way, back to almost dying. I've never seen them pass through this part of the forest before, so all I saw was twinkle in my windows. The voices of the storm made me realize they were here tonight, and that your light would attract their attention. You're right. I messed up. I'm sorry. You didn't mess up, my guy. I purposely tried to get myself killed. Maybe you should stay out of this part of the forest from now on. It's too dangerous. You mean I should stay away during the night? Yes. My house is over there. Are you sure you're alright? How are you feeling? I'll be perfectly fine once I'm wrapped up in a blanket. Thanks for not helping me not freeze to death, I guess. It probably came out sounding more sarcastic than I intended, but to be fair, it's been a rough night. Don't mention it. Hey, you're not gonna walk back to your house all by yourself, right? I actually have a place here in the village I can stay for the night. Alright. We shovel our feet for a moment. You better get inside before you get soaked. Have a good night, okay? Good night, Atlas. I let myself sink into my bed sheets. Near-death experience certainly wasn't what I planned. I don't know about you, but it was what I planned. But I'm lucky it wasn't total death experience. I wanted a total death experience. I love when, like, especially visual novels, because they're the type of games you don't expect to do it. But when games just have, you pick one choice and you're like, this is unconsequential. It's a visual novel. They wouldn't kill me off. And it's like, no, you died. You're dead. Restart. That is always funny to me. Despite my exhaustion, I stayed awake for a while, calming down from the scare of encountering the wild hunt. I can still hear the howling storm all throughout the night. The way a fairy feels about you may have influenced by how you treated someone they're close to. Let's hope I didn't totally lose Nord with that one then. Day of the midsummer, let's hope it stays this way when the party starts. Connect, blah blah blah. And now we do them. Very simple, very easy. We do first Nord, because he's the guy we needed. I made up my mind. I'm gonna ask Nord if he'll go to the midsummer celebration with me. The question is, where do I look for him? Since he's... Oh, you'd like Fate Less Stay the Night. That game has a bunch of bad endings. Most of them have a character who shows up and then to explain what brand of stupid decision you made. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. Because, like, one of the things I've watched gameplays, I haven't actually played Doors because I think my computer would actually combust. But I've seen Doors where the endings will be like, oh, you got killed by a rush? How fucking stupid of you. And I love it so much. I love just the sassiness of just, you dumb. Young me was scared of playing Resident Evil 4 that I threw the controller at TV. Was the TV okay? Like, I get being scared. I'm weird because I watch a whole bunch of horror stuff. And so horror doesn't really... Things that should be scary don't really affect me anymore. Like, what? Megan. Megan is what we watched. As a family. And it was interesting. Because my family can't handle horror. And my mom was like, that wasn't too scary. But it was still horror. And I was like, I don't know how to tell you that was not scary at all. Whatsoever. But yeah, no, go off. It was terrifying, Mom. Yep, totally. I love my mother. The things I'm willing to do for her. But I'm writing down Fate and... Fate Grand Order? Or is it just called Fate? Mostly because I've heard of Fate Grand Order recently for some reason. I don't remember what I was watching. I know some things I've been watching recently that I was like, oh, well then. But yes, Brand of Stupid Things is hilarious. He's one of Lord Oberon's servants. I may just get lucky and find him at the Lord's residence. The original was not scary, just funny, especially the stair scene. Probably. I've been meaning to, like, watch a bunch of Resident Evil gameplay. Because I have this specific creator I watch to go to for horror gameplay, because I think he's hilarious. Stay the Night is the original game plus anime adaptation. Grand Order is a spin-off gacha game. Ah, is that what it is? It was just I knew it was a game. I just heard the name. I didn't know anything else about it. There's something I will look into. Dino just be giving me all types of games to look into. But yeah, I've been meaning to watch all the Resident Evil stuff. I know I watched I'm pretty sure 4. Pretty sure I watched a bunch of 4 and was very intrigued because obviously a lot of it has tie-ins to the older games, but it was also just interesting. Was it 4? Tall lady that everyone called mommy in it. Was it? I like obscure weird niche shit. So do I, man. I love obscure weird niche shit. Speaking of obscure weird niche shit, I wrote more lore. I rewrote the lore for Sky and the 3 nymphs. Dino. I might like Greek mythology. 'Cause did you know there's a Greek goddess of stars? Her name is Asteria. Did you know that she's the sister of Leto, who is someone Zeus got pregnant and had Apollo and Artemis? Also, did you know this wonderful goddess of stars, Asteria, also had a daughter? That daughter is Hecate, but also Hecate, the real life reason Hecate exists is because Artemis was supposed to, be Hecate. Hecate and Artemis were the same person. And fate is not normally any of that, but the original game is possibly the least well-known part of the franchise. Possibly. There's a lot of, certain things where there's niche to that genre, and thus making it interesting. Especially with big lore things, big stuff. Like FNAF. There's niche, FNAF games because FNAF is so big. Wait, Hecate is the cousin of Apollo and Artemis? She is. Because the fun thing is Artemis and Hecate were supposed to be the same person. However, Apollo and Artemis are seen as the golden children. The stars, the twins of a golden halo type thing. So, in an effort to make Artemis not evil, they made Hecate. And they were like, well, how does she exist then? So they took Asteria, who was, had a husband, and they were like, well, they had a child now. And thus Hecate was born. So, my lore might have something to do with Hecate and Asteria, and, Zeus being a douchebag. But yeah, I like Greek mythology. There's also, I'm pretty sure it's Demeter, because I was very confused about it. Demeter and Zeus had 2 children together. Or not Zeus. Poseidon, I believe. Yes, it was Poseidon. Poseidon and Demeter have 2 children together because they're twins, and it's really weird because one is a horse. One is a straight up horse. But the other is a woman. Beautiful woman. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but she's the goddess of mystery. And she had a whole cult following during that era that nobody knows what they were called, nobody knows the rituals to it or anything about it because she was shrouded in such mystery. And same thing with Hecate, nobody knows about a lot of the rituals and stuff for her. Granted, Hecate's are more recently we've discovered more about her, but for our goddess of mystery, none. I'd love to include her into the lore, but I have no idea how I'd do that. I'm already playing screwy with the lore I've written. But I don't know. Being the god of the ostracized sounds pretty damn appealing. I did try to find niche and weird, but ostracized was the best that I could find. But yeah, Greek mythology be interesting. And I like Greek mythology. Could you tell? I was gonna do a whole video about Greek mythology, dissecting it and being like, oh, here's some things that I agree with, here's some things I don't agree with. And then right off the bat, going into it, Greek mythology started with incest. So I was like, you know what? We're not gonna do that. If you could be a Greek god, which one would it be? I don't know. Because there's like, coming to mind, there's like a bunch that come to mind, but there's also wanting to be more not seen, not have a lot of responsibilities. Hey, I might just pick being the horse, being Pegasus. Cause he's technically a god. I think I'd choose to be a nymph though. Because I think nymphs aren't full gods, but they're like demigods, sort of. They're not immortal, but they live a long time. They're sort of like elves, honestly. One thing that's kind of interesting to me is there is a Greek story, and don't remember who it was, but it was somebody, probably born of Zeus, who was trying to pursue a nymph, and she said, no. And so she turned into a tree, and so he took the laurel, now he wears that. Yeah, that guy also tried to pursue other people. He tried to pursue another nymph, who turned into a whole-ass flower and said, no. He tried to pursue a guy, and he also turned into a flower. And thus, I remember this story, and I was like, yeah, this makes sense. But then when looking up things for the original lore and for my lore, one of the things I kept coming across was people saying nymphs are female. That all nymphs are female. Which they're not. But essentially, what happened was nymphs, when being told in stories and in the mythology, were not inherently female. But as artists and creators, like sculptors, started to look into the religion, they started to make nymphs more sexual. Sounds like what happened to Phrygian Norse mythology. Phrygia was originally Odin's wife after he went to war with her people due to her being turbo thought. However, after getting married, they had a healthy, if distant, marriage and would do favors for each other whenever either would catch the other doing something stupid. However, as the rule of the matriarchy culturally developed, Frigg was invented to give Odin a wife that he has a healthy relationship with, and his active mother Thor, who would Boulder, and I believe Vidar's life. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I never had a relationship with. Huh. Yeah, because Norse mythology. I like mythology in general. Mythology is just so cool. The different types, the different ones. The Egyptian mythology is also super cool. I try to look up and research anything that makes me curious and keep little notes about it. I have several mythology books. Sorry, I'm looking away because I have my bookshelf over there. And several other books. I think Norse mythology is one of the hardest to look into, at least in terms of getting actual books to write notes down with. But that is interesting. Very interesting. No, I'm just overthinking about mythology in general. As I approach the throne room, I'm ready. Disney made Zeus into a good guy, but in reality he's messed up. Oh, super messed up. I've dived really deep into Norse mythology and tend to write stories about it. It is hard to look into, though, since we have very few surviving records of it. Yeah, it's very hard to look into. But I would love to know more about it. Love to do a deep dive into that too. And Disney definitely made Zeus a good guy. Did Disney make it? The Percy Jackson books and stuff. They made, like, in the movie, the really shitty movie, Poseidon, like, a good father, which is bullshit. Poseidon ain't a good dad. I mean, he's not the worst. Zeus would be the worst of the motherfuckers, but he wasn't that good either. One really interesting thing I heard recently, or like read about recently, is that people were describing that myths are not character driven. Myths are only made to describe a certain phenomenon, which makes a lot of sense. And it makes a lot of sense because certain mythology people have actions that they do that make no sense. Like I said, Demeter had a horse son and a daughter, but was only protective over Persephone? It doesn't really make sense. But if you think of it in terms of they needed a way to explain the seasons changing, makes total sense why she'd be like that. Which I love so much because you can take these characters that have these stories around them and essentially mess around with different dynamics. Zeus is a horrible guy, but you can decide what kind of brand of horrible he is. And that is always going to be intriguing to me. Preparing for present evening's event. Putting up decorations, setting up warm lighting, moving around furniture. Nobody even asked me why I'm present. They just assume I have some business here. By the way, there's a guy hanging from the chandelier. We're not going to ask about him. Well, yeah, a lot of old stories were driven by God of Gaps. That's something I find a lot of people misunderstood about modern myths. Adapting myths into modern storytelling. Exactly. Zeus, face me, you're a coward. Zeus is a coward. He is a coward. And it is that they are created simply to explain stuff, and that modern storytelling just kind of fundamentally is like, no. Let's take it at face value. Like, if you're going to, because this is what I do, if you're going to adapt a character from Greek mythology, god, nymph, whatever it be, look at their story. Look at what it explains. And then character dive from there. Like Persephone and Hades, that's been adapted so many times, but fundamentally misses what it's supposed to be telling. Like, yeah, sure, you can make Hades a good guy and be like, I know he and Persephone were really in love, but Demeter was keeping her trapped, and Hades saved her. But then, how do you explain her visiting Demeter all the time? They just don't. They fundamentally don't. They just were like, oh, no, she doesn't. Or Hades a bad guy and be like, oh, Persephone. Well, in your thing, why doesn't Persephone just leave then? You have to really find how to make it all make sense and do it in a character understandable way. I'd make Persephone someone who is very naive. Someone who maybe followed Hades because she didn't know what he was, didn't know who he was, followed like sort of blind love, but also didn't want to leave her mother, but didn't know how to choose between them, so bounces between them, but is uncertain of which she will fully choose, and thus why during winter it's colder, because she's sad, and because she doesn't know, she's getting pressure from both sides, that she doesn't have time to herself, or make it a curse, because Hecate is apparently the one that tells Demeter that Hades kidnapped Persephone. Maybe Hecate visited Persephone and told her that yes, you can leave, but you have to visit your mother. You can have your freedom, but your mother will always control part of you, but I can limit how much control she has. Stuff like that are a lot more interesting than just, Hades was the good guy. Like, yeah, okay, thank you. I need more than that. Thank you very much. And I use Persephone and Hades because that's just the most obvious example. But obviously Zeus sucks. It's just so interesting because it's like hero to very sucky to questionable things as well. So many questionable things. Fucking Zeus turned into a bull. And had relations. Like, dude, what? Poseidon's not innocent either. In a way, I do. Sure enough, a familiar scarved figure is zipping through the room while he's carrying something in his arms. He stops to balance out a golden... Norse myth has the same problem with Loki. People misunderstood that what the trickster is and makes him an evil, manipulative god. In truth, he has shown to consistently fail at manipulating anyone and rarely having outright bad intentions. Rather, he exists to induce change and challenge complacency in Asgard. Yeah. I haven't looked too much into Loki, but yes. This of like, this is not... You are misunderstanding it. This is not a one-note thing. You have to understand the intentions, understand the mythology, understand these stories. I don't think creating your own character and like... Hell, I did it with my lore. Creating your own narrative is bad, but I think it should be a lot more deep than just... Loki be evil! Haha! How dare he! But he got a redemption arc. Thank you. That, That's great. That's great. You know, except for him not really being evil, being sucky manipulator. You know, the things. Do you like the movie 3000? I haven't seen it. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen. I have a little notebook I keep next to me during these streams because people recommend stuff, and so I can write them down and check them out later. Anyway. Stops balance, but almost knocked it over with his dash, but he instantly gets back to work. Hey, Nord, do you have a moment? Sky, you're here too! Wait, are you really already excited for the party? It'll still be quite a few hours until it starts. I know. Actually, I came here to ask you something. Okay, what are you... Jeez, don't lay the carpet there. Air it in folds like that. And already picture a group of polka dancing nobles toppling over it like an unfortunate domino bricks. Yeah, that's a lot better. Sorry, I swear you got my attention now. Lots of work, huh? You know it. I hope you'll catch a break during the event itself, right? Yeah, I'll just be here. I'm just here to set things up, thank goodness. I'm not one of the servants who's on duty once the party gets started. Then maybe we could go together? Oh, right. Yeah, one of my goals is to correct the record. I do not intend to write accurate retellings, but I definitely want to be closer to the Aetius than I can while having Asir run around in the modern world. Yes. Do you think Greek gods Riz? Got Riz. Kind of? I think in a way. Okay, because think of it like this. There's a lot of like the trope of cold CEO, cold like man of power, and then he's very cold, he's very rude, he's very, you know, mean, but he has all this power and he's like mysterious, and that's what makes him appealing to a lot of girls. That I think is how people would think of... Yeah, Zeus would be convinced he does, but I think that's how people would view the gods. Like, despite their actual personalities, they view them as, oh, they have all this power, and I want that power. Because obviously, do these people like the CEO because they are mean? In most cases, no. Some cases, yes, but we are not talking about the exceptions here. We're talking about the majority of people don't like that he's mean. But they like that he's hot and that he has power. So, yeah, that'd be Zeus. they'd be like, he controls thunder, and he's the king of the Olympics. You know, he's just my taste. And Zeus is over here being an absolute douchebag. You're like, seriously, girl? Honey, are you okay? But yes, I try to be as correct as I can to all the research I do. But it's also a little hard because, like, some records aren't there. Like, for Asteria, the most I could find about her was that she was wise and kind. But there is also things that people don't know. For example, she made her name. Her name is Asteria. But people refer to her as the goddess of Delos, despite her being the goddess of stars, because she created Delos. But people are unsure if she created Delos to get away from Zeus, like the original stories tell, or that it was she created Delos because she became, I believe, a swan and dived into the ocean because Zeus was chasing her in the heavens, and Poseidon led the chase in the ocean, and thus she created Delos. So people aren't sure, and it's things like that of like, okay, well, I'll take this into consideration, and I will try my best to be as accurate as I can to this. To what I can do. And I did that. And the same thing with Hecate. Not a lot known about her, but it is known that she's mostly a side person. Like, she's shrouded in mystery, but she also is very helpful. Very, somehow, well-meaning. I believe one of the biggest, like, notes to her is that she's a protector. She seems to want to protect people more than she does hurt them. Which is not how a lot of the modern... I thought about being a teacher before. I have. Because I am a little bit of a history nerd and then a language arts nerd. So, well, city-states being named after or devoted to a patron god is pretty common, but having one for a lesser god is fascinating. It is. It's very fascinating. But it's also so intriguing because there's so many characters where you could see how modern adaptations would take this. Like I said, with Hecate, a lot of people view her as this witch, you know? Like, she's not inherently evil, but she's, you know, satanic in a way. And it's like, she is fundamentally not. In fact, she's very much protective and very much family-oriented, which is so intriguing. She's actually more not starting problems. Meanwhile, people view Aphrodite as this beautiful goddess of love who just wants to make sure love is everything, and she's a jealous, vindictive bitch. There's so many stories of where she's just like, oh my god, you screwed with the guy I like? Fuck you. You said she was cute? Ain't no one cuter than me. So it's so interesting. And Athena gets put one note, too. Of, Athena, the wise, god, and then warrior, and toxic girls. Very toxic girls, because as I was just about to say, Athena actually has several stories of where she is edging Aphrodite on, and being mean, and being like, oh, I'm the most beautiful. Which is so, like, Athena's... You wouldn't think of Athena like that. But she is. The records have so many different stories and different views and insights into what these gods and goddesses are like. And also there's several goddesses where they're just kind of like, yeah, so she just fucked off to the forest and decided never to marry anyone. She was a virgin. And then nothing else is spoken about her. They're just like, yeah, so she exists. And we don't know anything. Which is also so intriguing. But also, adaptations and how things are seen can get skewed. As I was talking with the nymphs. Of like how nymphs weren't inherently a gender. And now they are. They're mostly primarily female. I still say screw that. I'm making my nymphs non-binary. but they also weren't supposed to be sexual. Hysteria is also an interesting goddess when it comes to having so little information of her. Despite being the goddess of Earth, a very important role back then, and one of the gods who fought against the Titans, a very important event, and yet she is considered the one good god by default by some scholars due to the kind of fuck all in the lore after the war against the Titans. Exactly! The lore isn't consistent, so certain people who are important just kind of disappear, and thus scholars have to make as educated guess. I think for a long time, Hysteria was also a big theory was that Hysteria was Demeter, and that Demeter and Hysteria were one and the same, when they're not. And there were so many, and they also make sense because there were also records being destroyed, records being gone by a certain group. So we don't know everything, all the records or anything. But there's so many smaller gods that don't have a lot of information that, like, even the small stories they're in make you go, wait a minute. Who be you? What are you up to? But people focus on the big ones. But yeah, I love I would change a lot in Greek mythology, like for modern world. But it's still incredible in its own right. But I would give it a more consistent lore thing, if I could. Alright, we always hang out as a group. I'll see you when I'm there. Nord. Wait, did you just ask me out? You fucking dumb. Yes. That was the intention, yes. This is already going super smoothly. As in, on a date? No. For drinks. That's still a date, Sky. Oh. Yes. That's really flattering. Which is why I'm really sorry to say no. Ah, frick. To the point where a guy in my writing group wrote a story about Hysteria. All the other Olympic gods thought she was just trying to keep a moral high ground through her consistent non-action. However, in his story, Hysteria is consistently struggling what it means to be a good person, and true that constantly suffering from dissolution patterns. Yes! Why do girls like the bad boys? Man, I don't know, man. I mean romantic. I don't understand love. I understand Greek mythology more than I understand love. But oh, I would love to read that story. I don't remember who I wrote it about. But in the war for the poor girl who didn't want to be in this war, Helen, when the guy fought the Minotaur, there in the story there was the woman that helped him figure out how to defeat the Minotaur, and then they got on a ship and he was a fucking bitch and he left her on an island they had stopped at and kind of just fuck all went away. I wrote an entire story based on her being like, oh, how in love she was, because his promise to her was that he'd marry her, and he fucking didn't, because he was like, actually I'm going back to Helen. But she yeah, I wrote a whole story about her going on this island, figuring out how to do life for herself, and struggling with trauma, and finding a guy that genuinely loved her, settling down, and then years later, and ask if I'm allowed to send it to you, but there's some stuff in it that's exclusively for that we aren't willing to share publicly yet. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'd try not to tell anyone about it if that were, like, not okay. You know, less willing and more ready. That's fine, that's fine. Do you think most gods are broken or straight up a-holes? I think most gods are broken. A lot of them are broken. And I think it doesn't help who their parents are. Because, I mean, woman who created the universe, wonderful Gia, the perspective of her, and when I first got into Greek mythology, my perspective of her was, well, she is Mother Earth. She is someone who very much cares about the earth, very much cares for people, and then her husband fucking sucks. She created her husband? And the other guy, she had 2 lovers. I was like, oh shit. What? And like, because all we usually see is the fact that she saved Zeus. Woman was not a good person. She just happened to like her children. Which is just a interesting thing to realize. Do you like where you were going with that story idea before I cut you off though? Oh, right. Yes, I wrote an entire story about how she learns to live with herself. Also, Diego, what? Yeah, Gia did a lot of stuff. There's a reason in my videos when I use her name instead of in the subtitles instead of God, because I don't believe in God. Sorry, that might be controversial a bit. So it's just like a nice for me to use her name. But yeah, she did a lot. But yeah, when I'm doing the things, I write her name differently. Cause I don't want to be fully associated with her because, girl, what? But yeah, I wrote a story about how the girl that he was supposed to marry learns to find her life, find herself, and has a child with this guy, this fisherman, who ends up taking her in, who, like, as the story goes, she was going to kill herself because she didn't see anything else living for. But the fisherman was like, no. We can find you something to live for. And the fisherman introduced her to his son, and the son started to help teach her how to fish and how to gather firewood and how to gather coconuts, and they started to slowly learn how to live on this island, and she and the son ended up marrying. And so she has this child, and a ship comes by, and they're like, "Oh, visitors!" And they go over, and it's Troy, and she's like, "No, fuck you." He gets off the ship and is like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I wish to marry you. I was wrong in my assumption. Get out of my island." And that's kind of like the ending of her, was just her confronting the past and confronting him and being like, "You never intended to marry me. And I am grateful that you got me to where I am, but I do not owe you anything." And she sends him away. And he tries to guilt trip her too. And I was like, no. But yeah, I wrote an entire story about her because I felt like her being cucked out of getting her end of the deal when all she did was help him was horrible. Yeah, it was super cool. I don't know if I still have it around because I know I turned it in as a project, but I hope I do. But yeah, it was super cool. I had a lot of fun writing it, and my friends really liked it too. They were like, "Oh," because we had read the myth, and then I was like, no, I don't agree with this. My girl deserved better. So that was very fun. Yeah, frick. Did I do something wrong? No, actually I think you are really great. I'm just already planning to go with someone else. The thing is, we're technically up for a trio arrangement. But I don't think that would really work out, you know? Oh, I mean Atlas, right? It's pretty obvious, huh? You two clearly care a lot about each other. I don't want to disturb that. Thank you for understanding, Sky. I'll still be seeing you around the party. Wait a minute. See you around, nerd. Fuck! How did I accidentally softlock myself? This is incredible! I've never had this happen! You know how I was like, oh, I want to see if I can actually die? And did the whole nope, make a run for it thing? You have to have a good reputation with Atlas and Nord to have to get either of their endings. So I had to be nice to Nord when I was doing Atlas's route. So by saying nope, I actually soft-locked it that Nord automatically rejects me. At least it was on the last day. Yay! Okay. Oh, neat. Yeah. It is neat that there is actual consequences here. If you're mean. Which is always nice when there's actual consequences. But yeah, see, we're already getting different ending of like, I'm not sure what to say. Nor just buttering flustered half sentences into a scarf. Take your time. It's already tough for me to understand that one awesome person wants to be with me, let alone two. Two? Oh, wait, I think I understand. You already planned to go out with Atlas, right? It's pretty obvious that we're a couple, isn't it? Yeah, it was kind of obvious. We try not to parade it in public all the time, but you know. You two clearly care a lot about each other. I don't want to disrupt that. Oh, but there's another possibility. Atlas and me, we talked about this some time ago. We could imagine being part of a trio romance. The only condition is that everyone feels comfortable with it. And judging by the way he talks about you, see? Literally that one choice screwed us over. I've never gotten that bad ending before. That's kind of cool. He really likes you. We could actually give it a shot. I think... When I was playing this with Nappa, we hit this option, but like on Atlas' side, who was I was hoping you ditch Nord for me. It didn't go well. Because Nappa was like, ditch him. And I was like, Nappa, he's just gonna not be with us. It was quite funny. I'd love to be the third in your bond. Really? I'd be honored. You're both very lovable people. Very lovable. We need to talk to Atlas, though. No way I can make that decision without him. He's working in the Lord's kitchen in a moment. We could ask him right away. I'll go get him. Phew, I guess we're doing this. Polyamorous arrangements between fairies are uncommon, but not unheard of. I've seen enough of Nord and Atlas to know I'd like to give it a try. I mean, 2 cute partners instead of 1? Count me in. So you really think you could bear both of us? I hope you know what you're getting into. I'm quite sure. You seem like a solid person, so I'm willing to trust you with this. But just so you know, if you ever harm Nord, I can and will personally kick your ass. Oh my gosh, don't scare him. It's not like we're getting married on the spot. We can view tonight as a test run, and if it goes well, we can keep exploring it. Sounds reasonable. Hooray, it's a double date. Triple date? Threesome? No, don't call it a threesome. Every time I'm like, this is a family-friendly channel. Never goes well. I love triangle without all the anger. I went through a period in my teenage, like preteen life of which like several big love triangles were about that I completely rewrote in my own way and made them all fall in love with one another or had them ditch the girl entirely. Don't ditch me, guys, please. But yeah, so every time I like love triangle without all the anger, I just remember those stories. A date with 3 people. Well, you sure you want to date us? Yes, I'm determined. Then, how about we meet here again at 6 in the evening? It's a date. For now, I'll let you both get back to your work. Right, the festivities won't prepare themselves. Well, this whole operation went from good to great. The only thing I want to keep in mind is that I'm a guest on this date. I'll be observant and see how those 2 act in their off time together. I'm nervous, but who knows? This may be the start of something wonderful. I take my time preparing for the festivities. While I haven't brought an elaborate amount of... Dang, 2 people seems a lot at work. A series of vigilantes strung together in a single story about different people accidentally finding Atlas as he holds up the sky just to talk to him for a bit. Some about deep, other want to shoot shit, and a few just want to vent. That's so cool. Oh, I love Atlas. I love Atlas as such a... he's so perfect as... He could be so many things. And certain, like... I read a heartbreaking story of him feeling... like he wants to drop the world because he was just... too much for him to handle anymore. It was like an allegory to depression. And I was like, damn. It was really good. But also, that sounds super cool. That's really cool. I'd love to read a story like that. I'd love to meet Atlas. If, he was an actual thing you could go and talk to. Actual person you could see. I just want to give him a hug. Poor guy's been holding up the world for a long time. And to Baz, dating 2 people seems like a lot of work. It is. Depends how much you like. Some people can do it. A lot of people don't feel the need to. And then there's some people who can do it. In my experience, I've been in a throuple before, like twice. And in one case, it was fine. Like, nothing really went wrong. Just one of us ended up moving away, and we didn't really want to do long distance. So we said, okay, nope. And then for the other one, it didn't go as well. Me and my partner at the time, who had taken in the throuple, the third of us, kind of got a little upset when the third was like, actually, I'm still in love with my ex, and fucking left us. And then not even a day later came over and was like, hey, so you know what I said? I'm super conflicted because I actually like you guys a lot more. And I got so worked up about it that I ended up talking to my partner about it. And they ended up validating my feelings and making me feel comfortable. So while it is putting in a lot of work, thruples can work when there's communications. I say as I talk about 2 times it didn't work out for me. But I mean in the sense of how I went to my partner to complain and I felt comfortable talking with my partner about it. That's how a throuple would work. You'd have to feel comfortable talking to both of them. And some people can do that. Others can't. Personal preference type of thing. But I know if you do end up writing that story, please send me it. Please. I'd be fine. Even if it's a single sentence. Please. I haven't brought an elaborate amount of fancy garments. Things will serve me well. Also do some cleaning the house so it's a mess when I get back. In the meantime, I realize just how little I know about the customs of midsummer around here. I will. Thank you, Dino. Are there pieces of court etiquette that I should absolutely pay attention to? I don't want to embarrass myself. Yeah, I'm sure if there's anything I need to worry, tell me. By the time evening, I'm throwing my outfit to make extra sure that I'm not wearing anything inside out. Alright, looking sharp. Time to do this. Oh, I forgot about his outfit. Oh, hello. As I approach the Lord's residence, I can already see a colorful figure excitedly bouncing up and down a taller, broad-shouldered one. Still, love the key, love the colors on him. Oh dear, I'm not late, am I? Nope, we're just early. You're on the dot, Sky. And splendidly dressed, if I may just say so. Thanks, you guys are also looking adorable! Me and Nappa try to cover our tracks. What? I didn't say they were hot. I just thought they were a good character. I mean, handsome. Those are all true. Come on, let's take a look inside. You'll have to see what the finished ballroom looks like. Norton Atlas slip an arm into the crook of my elbows. The 3 of us enter the throne room. The way I've seen this place before doesn't compare in the slightest to the current view. What was previously a daunting, large, and echoing hall with muted lights are now a bright, inviting ballroom brimming with music and cheerful conversation. Well, what you think? Doesn't quite feel the same place, right? I'll be honest, I didn't believe that this room could look so lively. I love we had the guy in the chandelier, now we have the guy just sitting in the little arch over there. What is with people wanting to be in high places? It'll be even better later tonight. So far, the dancing hasn't even begun yet. Right, everyone is kind of standing around and chatting. Should we join them? Yes, let's see if we can find some familiar faces in here. We blend into the crowd. I don't know anyone around here, but it's an interesting mix of people nonetheless. It consists mostly of fairies, but I spot some lycomorphs and lizard people in the ballroom. There are partygoers of all occupations, and while nobles seem to prefer staying among their kind, everyone is mixing and getting along quite well. Meanwhile, servants are moving diligently around the hall, offering snacks and drinks on their trays. Lord Oberon and Lady Tatiana are busy greeting the high-status visitors. I see Oberon bow respectfully to what must be the leader of the neighboring lycomorph settlement, who returns the gesture. After this formal greeting, they pat each other on the backs and loosen up noticeably, even exchange some jokes. It's almost uncanny to see those 2 mass messy forces of nature drink a toast and laugh as if they're old friends who only get to see each other once or twice a year. Heck, that's probably exactly what they are. Good evening, you three. Hello, Moth. Hey, Moth. Good to see all of you showed up. Love the cut of that vest. Cut of that vest on you, Atlas. It's doing a lot for me. Remember, me and Nappa were like, yeah, Moth be right. We, yes. Looks great. Of course you'd say that. You're the one who made it. He's right, though. You look sharp as always, too, Moth. Thank you, dear. You're looking rather interesting yourself. Wait, let me rephrase that. Nah, I know what you mean. I had to pick one of the outfits from the court's costume collection. Even though I don't serve here tonight, Oberon likes it when we employees stick to a dress code. So I just picked something that fit me. I may be mistaken, but the pattern looks like an outdated jester's costume. Oh! Mostly the wreck knuffle. But I like my little neck ruffle. So do I. Wow, let's change the subject. Is something happening over there? Yes, I think it's time for Oberon and Tatiana to lead the dance. Oh, that's my cue to observe the nobles. Which nobles will make for potential fashion clients. I need to get a better viewing angle. See you sweethearts later. So here's how it works. The Lord and Lady open the dance, and then the other noble couples join in. And after that, regular commoners. Is it only partner dance for now? Freeform dance starts later, which is when everything loosens up and you can dance in a group or solo. As Atlas described, the center of the hall, so look how pretty it is! I've gotten distracted already. Slowly fills up with waltzing couples. The outgoing partygoers occasionally react with cheers or applause when Oberon and Tatiana display a particularly elegant move. They've clearly done this so many times. Many times. She's so pretty. You guys like to dance too? Usually we join the couples dance, but since we're through this time, we should probably wait until the freeform dance is open. Because otherwise we might be violently stabbed for breaking the only two people rule? No, I mean, probably not. But the clear public display of polyamory may confuse people, so we should probably keep a low profile for now. Got it. Better be safe than sorry. If we're waiting a little, could one of you show me the way to the bathrooms? Sure, follow me. You want to stick around here in the meantime, Grasshopper? Yeah, I'll just be vibing. I love this version of Canon and D they're playing right now. Can you bring some snacks on the way back? Something sweet? Hey, no problem. Atlas kindly shows me the way to the bathrooms and waits outside. It's the most luxurious sanitary facilities I've ever been in. Once I've washed my hands and checked if my hood is sitting right, we grab a plate of mixed sweets from the buffet and struggle our way back. The hall is noticeably filled up some more, and we can only move at a small pace now. Now that we're trying not to drop waffles on people's fancy dresses. Atlas is an expert dodging the waving tails of excitedly gesturing alligator person when I spot Nord in the crowd, but appears he has also caught the attention of someone else. Wow, it really is you, Pipsqueak. Almost didn't recognize you in that completely ridiculous getup. Sorry, do we know each other? Jeez, don't be so cold. Did you already forget about that unfortunate accident when you happened to run face first into my fist? Nord grows pale. Starting to ring a bell? Right, you. Now I remember. Atlas has noticed the conversation as well, trying even harder to get to his partner's side now. He's visibly agitated. What's the deal with that lady? I bet she's one of those lycomorphs that were beating Nord on his recent delivery tour. Oh shit. If she so much as lays a single finger on him again, I swear. Don't look so icy. I'm genuinely looking forward to another round of our little scuffles, aren't you? Atlas is clenching his fist. I vividly imagine him discarding the sweets and thrusting the plate toward the wolf lady like a deadly frisbee. But then, a big fight may break loose and the entire event may be thrown into chaos. Put a hand on his shoulder. Huh? Wait a moment. I have this feeling. I think Nord's got this. What's the matter? Cat's got your tongue? I guess this is what happens in societies that are founded on strict hierarchies of dominance. People like you get cast out and then seek out smaller folks that they can pick on. What? You think I didn't notice? You meddle with fairies all the time. You're not like one of the nobles that were invited here for diplomatic exchanges. You just showed up to bully people because you can't establish yourself among other lycomorphs. You're pulling this stuff out of nowhere. It's not my fault you low weaklings are so much fun to mess with. It is true that I'm physically weaker than you. Big deal. But I have some other perks, like the ability to read auras. You can tell a lot about a person just from their aura. Yours reeks of insecurity, volatile anger, loneliness. You're bluffing. Wouldn't expect anything else from pathetic fairy scum like you. Ignorance, rudeness, oh, and racism. Though I didn't need to read your aura to see that. It's as clear as day. You get bossed around at home, so you compensate by hurting others who are trying to live in peace. If honor is what you want, then maybe have some self-respect first and stop acting like a playground bully. Or you can keep beating me up, but in that case, I think we all know who the pathetic one really is. You're playing brave now, but I'll shut you up. This was a no pet affair. Man, lycomorphs are unfortunately allowed, so... Also, all the fairies have, like, animal characteristics, so if it wasn't no pet fair, there might be slight problems of no one would be allowed to attend. Could you imagine that? A big ball being thrown, and then it's, like, no one's allowed to attend? Except for maybe one person who somehow is allowed to, and they get there and it's just empty. It's like, how did this happen? What, you think you're intimidating? There's much, much bigger horrors than you. I know, because I've seen them. I've seen a desperate father who got buried by burning debris. Holy shit, Nord! I've seen a walking corpse that didn't have a face. What has happened to Nord? You? This sounds like the start of a horror movie. For real! Nord sounds like he's already been in a horror movie. Man sounds like he's already survived and is over here like, okay. You can't do shit to me. You are nothing but a pitiful nuisance. Whatever you want to put me through, I assure you, I've felt worse. Do you really think I'm feeling any different about you now, Pipsqueak? No, I don't believe it. I know that you do. I feel like Nord's about to kill her or something. Lycomorph lady opens her mouth, closes it again, then finally skedaddles and vanishes in the crowd. We're just letting the inner voice be very external. Nord has seen some shit. Very much Nord's inner voice be very external. And Nord has definitely seen some shit. There's a whole game about, like, Nord and Atlas that now I'm like, what happens in that? What? What happened? Nord? Are you okay? I don't think he's okay. Yeah, that's my reaction too. Oh, hey, you guys got macarons. Nord be like me, of like, I will fully, realize something, and I'll go tell mom about it, and like, hey, I have trauma, would you believe? But I'll tell mom about, like, something that happened with the trauma, and they'll be like, you know what I really want right now? Like, freaking bread. Bread sounds really great right now. Or pasta. I'm gonna go make some pasta. And my mom would just be staring at me like, I think she's gotten used to it at this point of me just going from the darkest of topics to, hey, lighthearted and fun immediately. Oh, I'm so weird. Nord innocently stuffs his face with sweets like someone who didn't just verbally bash a 7-foot wolf person. Nord. The thing you just did there. That was incredibly hot. Wait, hey! She sure does kick in. Really, though? It'd be like, oh yeah, this, and then off topic of something entirely different. I forgot. Oh, I was talking about a certain affair, but a certain thing that happened in the VTubing community recently with my mom, because I was like very upset about it, and I felt also vindicated a little bit. And then we ended up talking about freaking what Casey wanted to eat, or if we should give her food because her stomach's been feeling bad, to talking about the blarge, the stuffed animals I got recently. So yeah, ADHD, but like, off topic we go. Nord gulps down a handful of sugary confections and shrugs. I was just telling her what I was thinking. I feel that. Not sure if it'll change anything, though. My guess is that she'll be leaving you alone from now on. I'm proud of you, Grasshopper. How are you feeling now? I don't know. Kind of hungry? Apparently emotional cathartic events really sparked my appetite. That's fair. The celebration continues without further interruptions. Once the musicians begin playing catchier music, the dance floor is filled with groups and atmosphere becomes more casual. Nord and Atlas take me by the hand and pull me into the mess of joyful dance, where I can see a leaf in the cloud teaching some folky dance steps to Blossom and Moth. We celebrate until we have properly tired ourselves out. Eventually it gets a bit too noisy in the throne room, and as some of the guests have overindulged in the punch that's offered by the buffet. So we head outside and seek out a cozy spot next to the river. The one we find is apparently frequently used for a campfire. We quickly collect some pieces of wood and smaller twigs, and Atlas easily ignites the fire thanks to his heat magic and a handy pocket lighter. You two keep an eye on the fire. I'll see if I can sneak into the kitchen and get us some snacks to roast. Okay, but steer clear of any suspicious-looking wolf ladies. That's a wild sentence out of context. Steer clear of any furries, you hear? Sorry, that felt mean. Nord and me fan the fire a little, then we take a seat on one of the tree trunks. Compared to the ruckus inside, the scenery is quite pleasantly quiet. The river peacefully gurges that word on, and the fire crackles and the air is still. Hey, Sky? Yep. I think I realized something tonight. That you're terrifying? I realized it too. Oh? That, that weird talk I had with the Lycomorph? I don't think I've ever done something like that before. It was great to witness, though. Atlas and me were both stunned to see you with so much confidence. I don't think I'm super confident yet, but at least try to act in a confident way. I got the idea because of you. What did I do? Because of me? Yeah, you've been really supportive ever since we met. How to gain confidence. Be a supportive friend. I mean, technically it's not wrong. Supportive friends can help your confidence. But that's not all that goes into it. Of course Atlas too, but in a more protective way. He always made me feel cared for, but now I actually feel like I'm ready to take care of myself, you know? Like you can stand up for yourself? Exactly. I usually find it easier to care about others, make them smile, and put in the work that makes them happy. Oh, baby. That's called being a people pleaser. Confidence +1. Really though, he rolled a good score on his confidence, and now he gets an added point to it. And now I realized I should just treat myself the way I treat others. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I read it the opposite way at first, of I should treat others the way I treat myself, and then I got very concerned because I don't treat myself well. Not all the time. Because it's something I deserve. You're the one that made me want to try that. Try, at least. Not sure how you did that, but I wanted to say thank you. I'm not sure how I did it either. All I did was click buttons. Aw, Nord. I'm out, if I could help you. You always wear that self-assurance fair. Thinking about writing made me realize I never shared my book with y'all, have I? You have not! You have a book, Dino? Book. Add it to the reading list. You wear self-assurance really well. It's kind of funny. You're a healer, but even without magic, you have a way of making people feel better just by being around them. It's called playing a visual novel. I do, fantasy mystery novel. Ooh, I like fantasy. I like mystery too. What's it called? Handy dandy notebook to write stuff down in. Is it weird I recognize this music? I've played this game before, so that might be where I'm recognizing it, but like it sounds so familiar. Huh. Just by being around. Well, you know how the saying goes. Care for a man, he'll be loved for one day. Teach a man to care about himself, and he'll be loved all his life. It's how I don't know, but I can make it sure. Please do, please do. I would love more stuff to read. Although I can't guarantee I'll be able to read it all in like... Usually I can finish big books in like a month, but I've been so busy with stuff. Probably won't be able to. Unfortunately. Okay, maybe that's not a real saying. Nord chuckles. It should be one. Hey guys, I'm back. Ooh, culinary delights incoming. Atlas shows us a bowl of bread dough, meat, vegetables, and mini sandwiches, and even some marshmallows he found in the kitchen. Tonight, we feast! We stick bread and other treats on the fire. We roast stick bread and other treats on the fire, chant dirty songs, and tell How do you chant dirty songs? Do I even want to know how you chant dirty songs? Atlas insists on calling the marshmallows Pat de Gimmarv. Every time that this word comes up, I'm like, no, man. I'm pretty sure his pronunciation is off, but I humor him. Hello! Hi, Blossom. Hi, Moth. Soon other people from the party migrate over to our campfire, too. Moth joins in a duet with another lyre player, while millions of stars watch us from the clear sky above. Nord and Atlas lean against me, one on each shoulder, and we watch the dancing flames. This date has been such a strange experience, and yet makes my heart feel full in the best way possible. I can't believe how at home I already feel here. It was only a week ago I arrived in town, unsure whether I'd fit in. And now I have not only made new friends, but I found two strong-hearted guys with whom I could share all my love. This is a joyful night, and one that I hope is only the first of many to come. And now we drew Nord. And obviously credits. And now we do Moth. But a masked man who showed up in a foreign kingdom to sell his. Ooh. Ooh. I like that it perspective flips. So the reader doesn't know. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Oh, that's gonna be a fun read. I've made up my mind. I'm gonna ask Moth if he'll go to the midsummer celebration with me. Both towns prepare for. I've had many a battle. It's always funny to me because I've written down like a lot of stories about this world I created. But there's also stories I haven't written down that just happen to happen because I've had this world since I was like 6. So it's been a long time in the making type of thing. So these characters, some of them are pretty old to me. And there's certain events that happen that I either decided, wouldn't work for the newer stories or just wanted to keep in but didn't want to actually write the whole thing. And one of those happens to be a witch war that happens. That one of our characters on the witch's side, because it's separated in many groups. She happened to be in it it started when she was a child, and then as she grew older, it was an ongoing battle. But it was very interesting to have references to it, but not actually write the whole thing itself. Because I know exactly like what happens, the ending, the outcome. But at the time of the story, it didn't make sense to have it written. So it's always interesting to do things like fantasy battles and such. Because some people are good at writing fantasy battles. I am not one of those people. I'm better at writing romance stories and mystery fantasy stories than I am battling. Let's hope he doesn't already have a bunch of other admirers who's standing in line before me. I entered the tailor shop where Moth is rearranging some bundles of fabric. There's nobody else here, so might as well good a time as any to ask him. Ah, Sky, come in, love. Here I was expecting you'd be busy picking an outfit for the evening. Oh, please don't make me laugh. I already decided what I was going to wear a week ago. This is my type of overthinking preparedness. Like, I have everything ready for the for like a week ago. I was getting everything ready so I could go to the Renaissance Fair with like no issues, no problems, you know. One day. We're going to the Renaissance Fair one day. And that day is not tomorrow, but Saturday. Did I prepare a week before of videos just to make sure it was okay? Yes. 'Cause I'm weird as hell. I totally feel you. I have something similar going on with Alto, where there's a gun stuff in my head that's just not written down yet. Just wouldn't fit in the current story. Yeah, I literally have to separate everything. They're separated by town currently, is how I had them separated. And so there's like Rose Storm, and then there's also Amori. Amori was my first like branching in, and you know the like a lot of writers, their first writings tend to be about angels and demons. So I kept the angels and demons, but I started adding more creatures, and I started adding more plot, more understanding to it. Like, there's a whole royal family that's got like a whole bunch of messed up stuff in it, but there's also good members, but there are also sucky members, and there's sucky members and the good members trying to get along. There's demons, there's prejudice, there's classism, there's racism. It's a lot. It is a lot. And a lot of that has been written down, but in short story forms. But every time I explain my world or explain like something new that I've like mentally added or put on a checklist, and I explain it to my mom, she's like, "Why don't you just sit down and write an entire book?" Sounds about right for really though. But I'm like, I don't. Nope, I can't sit down long enough to write that. That'd just be too much. But there are definitely a lot of references and a lot of places and things have changed. A lot of the character names have changed as well. Stories, backstories. There's like certain characters that I created my own friggin' species for this world, and languages too. But like the certain species is like they can steal memories, but they don't do it consciously. They look into your eyes, and some of them are blind, some are not. Some don't have pupils at all. Their eyes are just pure white. And when you look into their eyes, they can take a memory or an idea, and that if you hear that idea, your brain melts. And they sell it to survive. That was my own homebrew character. I did try looking it up. I was like, hey, is there any character that actually exists? Did I accidentally like take this from a book or something? Nope. Apparently my own brain decided I'm that fucked up. But I still find it cool, and I love my original characters. I had originally decided I was going to wear a week ago. Very foresightful. I have a reputation to uphold. What would people say if I showed up to a formal event underdressed? My pride as a tailor would be ruined. Speaking of Midsummer celebration, there's something I've been meaning to ask. I'm all ears. Whew, why are all my guts feeling all tingly? Would you like to go there with me? As a date? Oh my. Just let him know. Moth is blushing. I hope that's a good sign. I must say, it's a bit bold to ask me out when you've only been here for a week. Usually I demand a longer period of mutual... At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't at least a bit more honest. I'm so glad I have corrupted. As a corrupting, I think I'm just a naturally morbid person at this point. I try not to be too morbid. I try to keep like a good level of, hey, this is just, you know, limits here, but I'm a horror geek, man. I've also got a shit ton of trauma that just made me immune to a lot of shit, so... Usually I would demand a longer period of mutual pining before agreeing to this. But I think I've gotten a decent impression of who you are, and I like what I'm seeing. It makes me want to get to know you more. So, yes! I'd be glad to be your date. Really? Don't look so stunned, dear. You can be confident in yourself. I don't just let anyone get this grand heart of mine, you know. Thanks, Moth. I'm looking forward to this evening. The feeling is mutual, Sky. Shall we meet at 6 p.m. in front of Oberon's residence? It's a date. On my way back home, there's a spring in my step. I have a chance to spend more time with Moth. Jeez, I better make sure I don't drop any bricks during the party. Moth must trust me a fair bit to let me join him for what seems to be an important business event. I won't let him down. I'll take my time preparing for festivities. Oh wait, did I skip the thing? Ah, well, if I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, will tell you. Yeah, it's still the same thing. As I approach the residence, no sign of Moth, but I can't see Nor and Atlas hurry inside. Of course they'd go together. It appears I'm a bit early, but at least can try to calm my nerves a little bit before my date with Moth. Leaf and Blossom make themselves known with a short whistle as they arrive. Heya! Hey, you two! Nice dress, Sky. Oh, look how pretty she is. Anyway, you're all looking lovely. I'm not underdressed, right? Nah, don't worry. Your outfit is perfect, girl. Leaf nods. The three of them make their way inside, but not without Blossom giving me a knowing wink before leaving me. Oh shoot. Does everyone know about this date? How did news even spread so quickly in this place? You asked the local drama team. Honestly, the vibe I get from you is ready to give enough. Want to see this character pondering the nature of existence, the person they love as the world burns so well. That really do be me though. I write the most like romantic shit and then it'll be like, and then they died and forever didn't know how to deal with that pain and horror, and so they hid themselves away forever. So yeah, I am 100% the character pondering. Not the character, but I would write that. I have written that. I have a whole dragon that abandons their entire clan simply because they don't look dragon enough. And thus they become a familiar to a witch, but the witch is like a villain and she's actually an antagonist. Got him. Really though? And so the dragon and the witch are getting along great, and it seems like a found family moment. Also, Moth pretty. Moth is very pretty. Seems like a found family moment, but then the villain like slowly gets closer to this prince, and the dragon's like, well, I mean, we did a lot of crime. Are you sure about this? And the prince is like, I mean, and my family's fucked up. Oh, fine. But then as the story goes on, you realize that no, in fact, it was not fine. And as it goes on, the witch slowly becomes the antagonist, and the dragon is torn because he starts to see the prince as a friend, and thus he has to abandon the one person who took him in when everyone else had rejected him. I think I'm a little morbid. Just slightly. And then again, I doubt that anyone would want to sabotage our romantic escapades, so it's probably just fine. Good evening, my dear. You're looking absolutely sublime, if I may say so. Well, thanks. It's pretty obvious, but I love your outfit too. I didn't leave you waiting for long, did I? You're only fashionably late. You're being too generous with me. Moth offers me his arm. Shall we? The two of us enter the throne room. I've been in this place before, but the way it looked then doesn't compare in the slightest to the current view. What was previously a daunting, large, echoing hall with muted lights is now a bright, inviting ballroom brimming with music and cheerful conversation. What do you say, love? Quite impressive, isn't it? To be honest, I didn't think that this place could look so lively. It's a sight to behold. They really amp it up every year. It'll be even better once the dance officially begins. In all due time, though, how about we get some drinks for now? Sounds good. We blend into the crowd. I don't know anyone around here, but it's an interesting mix of people nonetheless. It consists mostly of fairies, but I spot some mycomorphs and lizard people in the ballroom. There are partygoers of all occupations, and while the nobles seem to prefer going along, everyone's mixing and getting along well. Meantime, servants are moving digitally. They're diligently offering snacks and drinks on their trays. Lord Oberon and Tintiana are busy greeting the high-staff visitors, and then there's the Lycomorph, their old friends. Moth! We've backed our baby. Moth is chatting up some business contacts. Merchants, tailors from other towns that are here to visit, even a few nobles that are interested in his work. He's quite a smooth operator when it comes to pleasing people from different works of like. When talking to the merchants, he keeps things brief and professional, focusing on numbers. When speaking to the nobles, he tickles their vanity, hoping to win them over as customers. While he's busy flattering a pair of low aristocrats, I am approached by what appear to be two teenage nobles. You must be Moth Salise +1. Oh no! Are we going to be the trophy? Are we the trophy wife now? Delighted to make your acquaintance. They do seem delighted, but less in a friendly way, and more of, I'm going to out you as a pleasant fool and it will be hilarious kind of way. Nice to meet you too! I'm scared. They pour me a glass of wine from an unnecessarily fancy looking bottle. Already given the Chutterux a try, we'd love to hear your opinion on it. Judging from the incredible smug expressions on their highly punchable faces, they're trying to embarrass me, Argo Moth as well. And they might just succeed because I have no idea how to talk about wine. I think you should appreciate my annual Halloween project, Fairside Pub. It's a series about a pub in the middle of nowhere its minority patrons are human. Almost every short is about a human encountering whatever supernatural concept I want to talk about that year and seeing their response to it. That's so cool! That is really cool. I like that. I have like a mortal world and fantasy world separated that can. Oh, I have one of my favorite couples. Okay, because she's a witch, and she ended up going to the human world for like college, because she was curious about what the education system was like, and she actually went to Harvard and went to be a lawyer, and there she met this guy who also was going to be a lawyer, and he's like very intelligent, very smart, and she's like, oh, well, that's pretty interesting. They hit it off great. He's like, oh my gosh, I like you very, very much. Will you be my girlfriend? And she's like, oh, you sweet, bumbling idiot. I am a witch, dear sir. I could kill you with one snap of my fingers, sir. And so she's like, no, baby, it ain't gonna work. And he's like, well, can we try? And 6 years later, they are now married. He actually leaves the mortal world behind. And he didn't really have a family. Harvard was his parents' last wish before they passed. So that's why he was there. And he was like, I can be a lawyer. I mean, the witches need lawyer here, man. They are getting screwed over so much stuff. I got this. And thus, they're my cutest couple. Is that how they started? Not at all, actually. Their original origin story was completely different. But I love, like, humans reacting to supernatural concepts. I also love humans adopting supernatural concepts without even realizing it. such as the old lady who has a demon as a friend, or thinks that they're their grandson. You wanna go out with me? Lol. What does that mean? Lamau. I guess I'll take that as a yes. Yeah, that's the equivalent of what happened. Of like, no. But yeah, like the old ladies who have demons, or there are like plenty. I know, like mom, super into supernatural stuff, super into it. There have been times where she's like, I swear I felt someone jump on my bed, and I know the dog wasn't with me, because the dog would be in her crate. So, given how it, like, how the bed shaked, I think one of our long past puppies came to visit. So, I also like that concept too, of the older woman and the ghost puppy, Medusa, and the blind child, her raising it. Sorry, I went back to Greek mythology. I didn't mean to do that. I meant just supernatural stuff in general. Just interacting with the immortal world is just always intriguing. It's cute. Good boy. Yeah. She mentioned she didn't know which one it is because we have two. We had Montana and then Dakota. And they both passed. Montana passed first, and then Dakota passed way later. I only knew Dakota. Montana passed before I was born. So, she's the only one that could really tell the difference. Same breed of dog, though. Ironically enough. Talk about the line, everyone likes the friend. Just in time, Moth notices my awkward stance, and he excuses himself when the conversation he was having comes over. Oh no, looks like good wine they reserved for the high society guests. Mind if I take a sip? I've been quite curious about it. Go right ahead. I hand him the glass and he gingerly holds it under his nose, taking in the fragrance before nipping at the wine and properly savoring it on his tongue. Quite warm, earthy palate, almost a bit leathery flavor. I personally tend to prefer the half-dry variants, but that's just a quirk of mine. I must say that slightly nutty aftertaste is in this one is quite enjoyable. He hands the glass back to me and I follow his example. I can agree with that. It's not bad at all. The two nobles seem satisfied with that judgment and saunter off, probably to look for a different target that they can make fun of. Thanks for the help just now. Don't mention it, love. Say, can I tell you a secret? I can't stand red wine. I can't stand any wine, because I've never had it. It all tastes the same to me. Really? But then how did you come up with the fancy description just now? Improvisation. Wine testing is one of the games that high society wants you to play. He pours me a glass of water, one for himself as well, to wash the bitter taste off our tongues. Those rich kids, clearly wanted to ridicule you. It's always the same thing. Their parents are old money. They think they can strike through this ballroom, as if they own the place. If their brains are worth half as much as their shoes, they'd know that etiquette isn't about showing off. It's about being mindful and taking your time to appreciate people. That is something the royal couple understands, at least. Speaking of Oberon and Tatiana, is something happening over there? Pretty. Indeed, it seems as the royal couple is ready to lead the dance. Perfect timing. Right, I've been wondering why everyone has just been standing around so far. Here's how it works. Lord and lady open the dance. Pretty! And then other noble couples follow. After that, the commoners may join in. So it's only partner dance for now? Yes. Though after a few songs, the dance floor opens up for freeform dance. You'll notice it when that's the case. As Moth describes, the center of the hall slowly fills with Watts, the royal puppy. Yee. That reminded me. One of my stories is kind of like loosely based off of my family. Very loosely. But in making this fantasy world, I had the thought of creating pets that we'd really like, because not big sister, but mom being allergic to bunny beddings, and my big sister loving bunnies. Obviously, I wanted to give her a bunny. So my big sister got a bunny, and it's kind of hilarious, because big sister gets a bunny called Emma. It's a white bunny with red eyes, and it has the power to turn invisible. I got a fox named Arctic, because they're a white fox. And they have the ability to steal things, and essentially it's just a very talented thief. And then I don't remember the name off the top of my head. Snowflake. And then my mom, when I was asking her, hey, what kind of pet would you like? Because I was like, oh, fox is pretty normal to want as a pet, at least in my opinion. And then bunnies are pretty normal. And you know what my mother says? A snow leopard. I was like, alright then. So thus we had a snow leopard. And the snow leopard's name is Snowflake. And the snowflake has the ability to intimidate. And essentially tell when someone is bad. Like someone has cruel intentions. So yeah, those are the royal pets of the family I created in that world. Super cool. I loved all of them. I loved the idea of them going on adventures too. As Moth described, the center of the hall slowly fills. So y'all got familiars? Yeah, kind of. Which is ironic, given like the characters I created aren't any witches or... One can use magic. They all have magic in some sense. A little bit. But yeah, they had familiars. They also had a shapeshifter as like the royal advisor. There was also one of the like homebrew creatures living in their rose garden that I was best friends with. Character me was best friends with. Is best friends with, I guess. I just haven't ran in a while, so I say was. And then Mother was the queen, and she was a fair queen, but even she had her issues and was trying her best because the king fucked everyone over. Not saying my grandfather fucked us over, but it's just how I happened to write the story. But yeah, I guess we got familiars in a way. As the Moth described, centered full of what's ongoing partygoers. They've clearly done this many times before. Would you care for a dance? I'd love to if you don't mind dancing with novice. No problem. We don't need to get elaborate. It's been a while since my last ballroom dance, too. Moth takes me by the hand and gently guides me to the dance floor. He is saying that he's a bit rusty, but to me, his posture and the flow of his sounds like to the advantage of the old adage, write what you know. Yeah, kind of. A little bit. Is it because the creature that was in, the garden was less based off of like, this is my best friend, and more was based off of me? Because I wanted to write stuff, because a lot had happened in my life that a lot of people tell me when I tell them everything that happens is that you should write this down. You should write it down because it's so much. How did your brain process it all? And it's like, the short and truth of it, my brain built an entire world to deal with it. My brain built what it wanted. So, in a way, yeah, it's writing what I know. It's writing what, sort of what I wished had happened, but also just what experience and just making interesting stories based on certain things. Taking an element, sort of thing. But, the royal family was the first that I actually was, like, basing off of stuff. The rest were mostly just taking small aspects of things that happened and expanding on them, seeing different routes of it. I simply... Thank you. I respect the approach of, like, building it yourself, but also writing from experience. I think it's impressive that, you know, we're all able to write stuff in general. I think that's always pretty cool. I simply try to follow his example, but soon enough, we're floating in green I'm getting tired. Green cycles across the hall. I also spot Nord and Atlas in the crowd, twirling around and laughing whenever one steps on the other's foot. As more pairs join in, the dance turns into a game of avoiding collision with the other couples. Moth almost bumps into my chest when I pull him out of line of fire of a lycomorph swinging foot. Phew, good reflexes, dear. I suppose it's a good time as any for take a break. Agreed. I elbow my way to the buffet and grab some snacks for us. I try not to be too greedy, and yet I find the sweet stuff hard to resist. Same. I mean, if Socrates had his way, we wouldn't be able to. Dude thought literacy was made people less intelligent. Dude, what? Really? This is dumb. Literacy makes people more... I don't know if I'd say more intelligent, but at least able to pick out things. Pick out themes, pick out elements, pick out good role models. Like, literacy is very important. It's interesting. Because Socrates is Greek, isn't he? Because I know that there is... Because I in Greek mythology, learning about Greek mythology, I've learned a lot about Greek as itself and, like, different things that happen with Greek. As long as if we can write things down, we won't remember anything. Does Socrates just have ADHD? Mans couldn't remember shit, so he's like, no one else can remember things. Shush. Oh no. Sir? But I know that in Greek there was a... She was a philosopher? I think she was a philosopher. And she was counted as very beautiful. She was counted as the most beautiful. Not the most, but like very beautiful, and she had many, many bachelors after her. And she just said, fuck you, I choose my writings over you. It's funny, because most of what we know about his teaching, they're basically his students' notes. That makes sense. One thing that pisses me off so much is when schools... I swear this is related. I swear. When schools tell us that, like, Thomas Edison made the light bulb, which is not true. His friend did. And then Thomas Edison came in and was like, oh, you built this? Ha! Cool. And stole it. And published it as his own. So he didn't write it. He didn't make the light bulb. And so it pisses me off when people are like, no, he did. I'm like, no. Your school lied to you. It's the whole, like, specific words have specific meanings type of thing. Of like, but that's not the thing. Why would you not do the thing? I might be a little neurodivergent here, okay? As I struggle back with the hall, I notice that Moth is making a beeline towards the Nord while wearing something with a somewhat bothered expression. Part of me is worried he's going to roast the poor guy for his outfit choice, but other curious is how Moth acts when I'm not by his side. He simply straightens and fluffs up Nord's ruff a little and gives him a pat on his shoulder. There, now you should be good to go. This has been bugging me ever since I walked in here. Nice, thanks! Okay, this is really cute. Nord bounces off to his own date, and I offer Moth a plate of the confections I required. Thomas Edison was the expert in Chris stuff. Really, though? There's a lot of those of, like, in recent years we found out that, oh yeah, their teachings were actually done by this person. But then nobody changes it. Everyone's like, no. I mean, but we got so used to saying it's by history. What's the harm? The harm is that person isn't getting credited. They did the work! Give them the credit! Pisses me off. I'm always on the opinion if something is being used as something you're passing off as your own should not be accepted whether you are dead or alive. Even it doesn't matter if it was centuries ago. You did not make it, it is not yours. I hope you like macarons. Oh, perfect. As the evening continues, the musicians pick up the pace a little and the dance floor is quickly flooded by groups. The atmosphere clearly becomes more casual, but also a bit noisier. It appears that some of the guests have overindulged in the punch that's offered at the buffet. Well, there's no drunken brawl so far, but it is a bit much. Agreed. Also, what it was about Green Foster lady choosing her writing over. Yeah, she completely chose her writing. I don't remember. I wish I remembered her name. But yeah, she essentially was like, no, fuck you. And I remember there was somebody important, somebody high up who came to her and was like, oh, gracious lady, give me advice. And she gave him advice, and the advice worked out. And she was like, and he was like, okay, I will give you anything you want. She was like, well, I want my own building to put all my writings in. And he was like, you got it, here you go. So he gave her own building, and she like literally lived and then died doing her writings, and never got married, which I found cool as fuck. There's also a Greek, the guy who made the whoopee cushion. A lot of people don't know this, but he is not a guy. He transitioned to a female at some point, and she became Greek's first female empress. And she was recognized as an empress too. So it's interesting how certain things get lost to history, and why credit is super important. Say, how about we head outside to see if anyone has lit a campfire? It's part of midsummer too, you know. Yeah, that sounds nice. I could use some fresh air. We move outside the residence and stroll by the river. Sure enough, there's a little campfire near the riverside, and Atlas sits on one of the logs surrounding it, waving us over. Hi there. By any chance, could you watch over the fire for a moment? Sure. Where are you going, though? I want to make sure Nord didn't get kidnapped on his way to the bathroom. And people wonder why men are always thinking about ancient Greece and Rome. True. I found that meme very funny of like, what's your Roman Empire? And I'm over here like, it's Greek. It's Greece. Honestly. I think about them way too much. I think too much about their mythology. It's very funny. I just want to make sure Nord didn't get kidnapped. Okay. Atlas walks off into the direction of the residence. We take a seat on the makeshift benches. Compared to the ruckus inside, this scenery is pleasantly quiet. The river gurges on, the fire crackles, and the air is still. How are you enjoying yourself this far, love? I'm having a good time. How about you? Oh, me? I was just worried you might be bored. Nah, it's actually quite a lot to take in. You have my admiration for navigating the social landscape without dropping one brick after the other. It's all a matter of practice, but even I can spend this much time a day licking the boots of nobles. In the warm light of the fire, his face looked softer than usual. He had worn a cheeky smile when he was cutting deal with the merchants. It always come easy to him, yet now it's slipping away like a mask. In a way, maintaining all those superficial connections is a lot easier than opening up to someone for real. How so? I feel as though Moth wants to get something off his chest. Because playing a role is easy. It's like a suit of armor for your heart. When you really let someone in, you see the bad parts of you too. You make yourself vulnerable. Because they might not like what they see. Yes, all the things you'd rather hide away. Everything that makes you pitiful, fussy, or like a coward. A gentleman really lets down his guard, huh? I can tell that you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I do. I'm not gonna say it because I've said it so many times already, and I repeat it like constantly in videos. But Moth, you don't need to play some kind of role when you're with me. I'd much rather see you for who you really are. Even if that means seeing some ugly parts. Of course! We're all just people. I'm flawed too. Are you sure? You're the most quick-witted and compassionate person I know. Don't forget handsome. Moth chuckles. Really though, you'll find that I make mistakes just like anyone else, and that's alright. You have the right to be flawed too. It doesn't make you less lovable. I know it means a lot to open up about the parts of yourself that you don't like. Getting to know you so closely is a privilege. Thank you, Sky. I hope I'm not asking too much patience from you. Don't worry about that at all, Moth. You truly are my muse in a way. Wow, I think I could be that for someone. So, one might say that you're drawn to me. Oh my god! You're drawn to me like a moth towards the light. We had it, finally. The pun came out. Oh dear good. Oh good lord, you're such a dork. Moth tries to fake indignant, but he can't hide the delighted grin on his face. What's worse is you're absolutely right. He carefully leans against my shoulder and I wrap my cape across his back. For the first time ever, I see him relax completely. Ladies and gentlemen, we got for real. I forgot that he said that completely. Ugh. Nino's been over here making moth puns this entire time, and then we finally got one. I don't know whether to be upset or laugh. I'm gonna laugh. We cuddled from the fire while my heart tells me that this date was the exact right thing to do. It's warm and comfortable. It's a warm and comfortable moment of affection. One that can't possibly be my dessert. Bye! Nord! Hey guys! Called it. Vindicated. Of course you do. Of course you do. Hello, Nord. We're back. Oh. Are we interrupting something? Only a little. Come on, lads. Sit down with us. Maybe we can pacify you with some stick bread and other culinary delights? I am hungry. That would be more than acceptable. Atlas shows us a bowl of campfire food he bought. Meats, vegetables, bread dough. He even acquired some marshmallows, although he insists on calling the candy Pat. I'm never saying it right. Instead, I'm pretty sure his pronunciation is off, but we humor him. We spend the rest of the night telling stories by the fire, roasting food, and goofing around. We even get Moth's lyre from the shop, and he plays some tunes for us to sing along to. I almost can't believe how at home I already feel here. It was only a week ago that I arrived in town, unsure whether I'd fit in. And now I've not only found new friends, but also a lovable, sublime partner that I can give my heart to. This is a joyful night, and one night only hope is the first of many to come. Probably like one of your French girls' pose here. And that is Moth. I am hungry. But yeah, we did. You know what that means? We only have Kayleen and Blossom left, which means Night gets her first ever stream. Hopefully tomorrow, if I'm not too utterly exhausted, because I've been doing a lot of things. Oh, hold on. Dinah, were you here for this? The chat is now a bookcase. I'm closing this. Now I have to figure out how to end stream, because I always suck at ending stream. Yeah, you need bed. I do need bed. I'm tired. I'd be doing stuff. I built an entire desk and drawer in a span of 2 days. Cause, like, what was... Okay. To put timeline into perspective. Saturday. I do remember you saying chat was based, but I don't remember saw it. Yeah, so chat's a bookcase. We had Bun saying he was a book. It was very funny. Can see it now. But on like Saturday or Sunday, my aunt, I'm pretty sure Sunday. No, it was Saturday. It was Saturday. Saturday, my aunt texted me and she was like, hey, you want to go get pizza together? And I was like, oh, sure. So when I got pizza with her, and I was short, and it was like, okay, that's fine. That was enough social interaction for me. And I came home and I did a bunch of stuff. And then, she had talked about while we were driving home of like, hey, if you're free Monday, I want to get you a like Christmas present because I ended up losing your Christmas present. So like, we can go to the craft store because I know you mentioned you wanted to get some markers and stuff. So, and I was like, you know, I'm not gonna say no to this. Okay, sure. And so Monday, we go, and I go get some art stuff. I got a bunch of new markers. I am adoring them so much. And then I also got like a felt kit to make a felt thing. So that's really cool. And then Monday, I get home. I'm kind of exhausted. I'm like, oh, I'm probably going to go to bed. And Mom's like, hey, tomorrow, you want to head down to IKEA? Or not IKEA. Tomorrow, there's a costume thing. And do you want to come with me to go see costumes because the Ren Fair's coming up? And I was like, oh, well, this is really important to Mom. So yeah, sure, I'll go. So Tuesday comes around. Mom and I are like, okay, we go. We go get the thing. And we head to IKEA as well. And then we got the desk. And we got the first set of drawers. And then the drawers ended up being wrong. I don't remember what happened. Tuesday might have... No, I did something Tuesday. What did I do Tuesday? Because the IKEA and costume thing happened Wednesday. But there was something that happened Tuesday. I don't remember. We did stuff Tuesday, though. Because I went out on Tuesday. But then Wednesday we had the costume thing. And then we went to the IKEA. And then I built a desk. And then I figured out the drawers were wrong. We got the wrong type. Which sucked. And I was like, I was fine. Because then I opened it. It was like a different color than the one I wanted. But I was like, oh, that's fine. As long as it's the drawer type I like. And it wasn't. Which sucked. Because the drawer type, all my stuff had been lost to a void. So... we had to go replace it, which we did today. And then we came home, and then I built another drawer. Needless to say, it has been a busy week for me. And I am exhausted. I'm surprised I've been able to keep up with stuff, honestly. I'm kind of glad because, like, this happened. Like, this busy week happened. And thankfully, it happened right as I changed my schedule. Because the new schedule is that short videos go out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then VODs come out Thursdays and Fridays. And then there are no videos Saturdays and Sundays. Which I'm so grateful for because I do not have the energy to subtitle a video in time for Saturday and Sunday. And I'm not really happy with the videos I have coming out right now. Because they were recorded when I was exhausted. And I'm like, there's so many better stories. So I might have to, like, re-record them. But I'm really grateful because now I have Saturday and Sunday where I can do that. But I also have to do schoolwork. So if there are no videos on Monday, know that I was too exhausted to do anything. But yeah, I'm probably going to go pass out. I'm grateful for this new... Yeah. I'm grateful for this new desk setup because literally my bed is right behind me. So all I have to do is close my laptop. And, like, end stream, close my laptop, and just... pass out on my bed. Although I should get food first because I am hungry. But yeah. Sleepiness. I will try to stream Friday. If I don't. Sorry. Apparently Fridays are once in a blue moon. But also I'm thinking about changing the stream scheduling. Yeah, don't yell. Thanks, guy. I'm thinking about changing the streams. I accidentally pushed my desk back too far. Changing the stream scheduling to being earlier. Because now I have my room. I have the room desk. So it can, like, happen at, like, 10. Or 11. Or 9. Or 8. Which will be so much more helpful. And will hopefully help with not feeling utterly exhausted. Because I still, the Ren Fair is still Saturday. It'd be suck if I wasn't able to go to that. Because I just need sleep. But yeah, I am saying goodbye. Thank you for joining me. We have finally finished all the guys, which means Night gets her first stream, which is awesome. I hope you enjoyed. I know it's probably didn't make as many jokes as I usually do. Just the ending kind of tells you why. But have a good night, everyone. And a good day whenever you're watching this. Bye-bye.